Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting edition of Ringside Rants with yours truly, Just Mike. To my right, we got over here. I'm sorry. To my right, we have the Smarter Strong Style Phil, and beside him, we have Josh, also known as Bad Karma. Below us, we have Country, and I'm not trying to give you the thumbs down. I swear to God, I'm not. it's he's also known for doing sports and everything else around. And beside him, at an angle, here we go. We have Jordan over there, or I'm sorry, JAT, Le Champion of Music. And so we have a lot to discuss, and there is a lot of news points. There's a lot of backstage stuff that we were talking about before we went live on the air. I am going to kick this off just like this. We have Country, who was at Double or Nothing this past, was it Sunday?
Yes.
It was a Sunday. And all I want to know is, what is your take on that? And this is how we're going to do that.
Well, before I give my take, I'm going to plug my channel. So anybody that watches this, I'm premiering a new show strictly about fantasy football on Fridays with a gentleman named Bobby. Bobby's Big Board, and he does film breakdown. And ironically enough, he lives in Mississippi. He lives in central Mississippi near Jackson. And my Sunday live streams are still going to go. But my channel is if you like mostly football, sports betting, and I'll be going over the fantasy stuff. There seems to be a market for that. Dynasty fantasy football. That's my thing. I come on the wrestling here because Josh is my friend. These gentlemen have been nice enough to have me. And I enjoy discussing wrestling with them on occasion. So, thanks for the cheap pop, McFoley style. But let's get Double or Nothing. So, the venue that they had it at, it's in Glendale. And most major cities just have one venue. Like, the NBA team and the NHL team share a venue in most cities. Like in Chicago, the Bulls and the Blackhawks, they share a venue. But out here, the Suns have their own arena, and the former Coyotes had an arena in Glendale right next to where the Cardinals play. It's on the other side of town. And WWE has that thing where if they do a show at your venue, they won't allow any competitor to be in there for X amount of time. Well, this helps them bypass that. This venue is also smaller than where the Suns play, but it was a full house. The upper deck there were people in the stands in the upper deck, can confirm that for sure. They had a section blocked off for the hard cam, and they had a section in the upper deck directly across from the stage where they didn't sell seats, but it was full. It wasn't no camera trickeration or nothing like that.
Good.
My seats were right next. I sent Josh some photos. I don't know if he showed you guys, but
no, he never would.
Well, that's all right. But it was a learning experience to not get floor seats next to the ramp because the angle of watching the ring, it's not good. You can't see the other side of the ring. So when there's action over by the announce tables, we had to turn our heads around to look at the monitor to get that. So I will never do floor on the side like that again. It's restricted viewing. So if you like wrestling and you're going to a major event like that, you want to get something that's elevated. Trust me on that for sure.
Yeah.
So that's my personal experience with that. As far as the card was pretty good. I was happy to see Okada. I never thought I'd see him wrestle live because New Japan, when they come to the United States, they don't come here. They go to Dallas or they go to LA. And I'm not driving 4.5 hours to see an event.
Or Chicago. Or Chicago.
Yeah, or Chicago. Chicago gets everything, except the lower crime rate. But neither here nor there. So the show was good. I got to see Okada. I got to see Omega wrestle. John Moxley stabbed somebody in the head like 5 feet from me. We saw the whole card. There was no dark matches, but the presentation was different. Usually when they do a Dynamite, they're a little loose with the crowd, and this was like strictly business, pound through the matches, no pre-hype, none of that stuff. A lot of tag matches. There weren't a lot of single matches on the card. And, they were basically using this show to hype up All In with those tournament finals. And overall, I was happy because I got to see wrestlers that I never thought I'd get to see wrestle. I mean, the only person now that I haven't seen actually wrestle a match in person would be CM Punk. I've pretty much seen everything else. No, I think I have seen Punk on an indie show, but I've never seen him on a big stage.
Right.
Great show overall. It was good to see Tanahashi show up. I mean, it was just a great show. It was a B+ show. There was no like Grand Slam moment. There was no world title match. I don't think there were any title changes. The worst. No. I don't want to say the worst match of the night, but the match with what's that? What are they called now? What's Adam Group's called? What's Adam Cole? What's that group called now?
The Paragon.
Yeah, Paragon. And that match was used to cool off from the Anarchy in the Arena to set you up for Ospreay and
Omega.
No, it was Ospreay and Hangman. So last thing I'll say for it on a personal note. So Josh has met my family, and my cousin Judd has a son, and he has a daughter, and one of his friends from work and me. So there were 5 of us in a row. And then my cousin has a brother. His name's Danny, and his son, who's the same age as my other cousin's son. I know it sounds a little tricky, but they sat 2 rows back. Well, they're both like my little nephews, but Judd's son's a big Hangman fan, and Danny's son's a big Ospreay fan.
Oh, shit.
So I told him, I said, because I know his coworker. I'm like, we're going to switch seats with, Danny and his son so they could watch the main event. And as soon as the match was over, I didn't think Hangman was going to go over. I was surprised he did. But I just looked over immediately and saw the 2 of them, and I saw one young man in absolute elation that his guy won, and another one in absolute agony that his guy lost. And that made my night. Not in a trolling way. It wasn't in a trolling way either. It was like looking like, like they're still young, they're 13 or 12 and 13. So they're still kids in the moment, loving wrestling, still feeling the passion of not giving a shit about the intricacies of the match or who's going over or understanding all the insider.
Whoa, stop.
Just absolutely loved it. That was totally worth it. He was bummed out. Went home.
So it was like me and you back in the day watching wrestling matches while your guy won and
yeah, but I was always ahead of the curve. To be fair, tell the truth, I knew when a star was going to be born. Like I had a streak going of watching wrestling that I was like, man, this guy's just like great before he get like Jericho in his WCW run, because they were annoying heels, and I'm like, man, they keep my mind going on it, and it made me enjoy it more. And the only guy that I didn't think didn't go over that I thought was going to be something was Mark Jindrak. Was the only one I thought was, because he had that reflection of perfection, and he had the look, and I was like, man, this is going to be the guy. And then that just petered out for some reason.
I thought the same, but with Sean O'Hare.
Well, and his gimmick was great. His deviance, like
the devil's advocate.
Yeah, they need to bring something like that back, and they need to bring his finisher back. Nobody ever picked up his finishing move.
Well, they kind of did with Killer Cross. He is kind of the devil's advocate.
Do you have me on the lead? Like I'm the only person you get to see, because I don't see anybody else.
Yep. That's exactly how I did this, because I wanted to hear your take, man. And with us being away from you, it gives you the full view, if you know what I'm saying. It gives you the full. So we don't take
overall, great show. I'd go again. That's a good pay-per-view venue there for that crowd. I think TNA could have sold that out back in their day, because it's not as big as an NBA arena. It's not as big as the ones where they had previous shows that I've been to, which, I mean, that one's a lot closer to my house. The one in Glendale is an hour away, but great show. They should do it there again. I think they'll be back probably. They seem to come here in February when it's warm here and cold on the rest of the planet. So
I like the imagery and everything for the for the stage. I mean, it had Native American colors.
Yeah, I was hoping I took Danny and his son. He lives close to me, so when we drove up to my cousin's house, who lives over that way, we were talking about the anarchy in the arena, and I said, it'd be great if they're gonna go with the desert theme, is if somebody got hit with a cactus or like a, something along those lines, because not like the actual cactus, but those flat ones that look like lily pads.
Oh, the ones you can eat?
If I wouldn't eat it, you go ahead and eat it. You eat it, I'll buy it. You eat it on a stream. I'll buy you one.
Well, people eat cactus, man. They fry it. They fry
People smoke crack too. That doesn't mean you should do it.
Fried cacti.
Hey, I'm not gonna do crack, and I'm not gonna try cactus. So,
hey, like just don't mistake cacti for peyote, like Beavis did in Beavis and Butthead Do America.
At the end of the street here, it's funny you say peyote. At the end of the street, I can't show you because it's dark, but maybe a half a mile, but it's a straight shot. I mean, literally a straight shot. If I could show you, I would. Is the end of Phoenix, and it's all Indian land, and there's nothing built there. Nothing.
I actually have a few friends that live on the reservations over in White River.
Yeah, they surround like 2/3 of the city, and it's prevented Phoenix from expanding because the Indians don't want to sell it, which makes sense, but they don't do anything with it, which doesn't make sense. They don't build on it, nothing. It's just, I guess, it's.
I'm surprised they don't build casinos on it.
There's a couple. There's a gas station down here that's right next to a casino, and people go there because they get cigarettes on the discount for the tax and all that. Because the Indians, they get reparations. They get money just for being an Indian. Yeah. There's a guy I worked with that was just raking in the money because of him being like part Indian, part Eskimo, and getting that check. So,
damn,
great show.
Great show.
All right, so all in all, AEW Double or Nothing was a great show for you being there. But next time, are you going to sit on the floor again?
No, we all talked about it too, just because the angles were bad. The way and it might just be because like they didn't have any. You know how you can look up and see video boards,
right?
Where we sat, they didn't have any across from us. We were looking back when the entrances were happening, so the way the seat positioning wasn't good. I won't do it ever again. Now, if I ever make it to Mississippi and do an MCW show, I will absolutely be ringside, making it miserable for the wrestlers and for Phil going through a table. But as far as AEW going, that's just not happening. No wrestling event, no nothing event will be that close. And I think I got fooled because going to concerts, you see concerts are on a stage, but everybody's facing the same direction. There's no other side of the stage like there is for wrestling events, so I didn't take that into consideration.
You have to admit, though, you must have really jumped out when they played Bodies by Drowning Pool, didn't you?
And it was loud as shit. That woke the crowd up. It woke because the crowd.
It got everyone. The arena pumped.
Yeah, it was. They marked out for it, but they should have played another song after it instead of playing it 3 times in a row.
I guess they were trying to save money, but I can understand that.
Well, you gotta realize it's $40,000 just to play the song one time. So that's 3 times. So that's $120,000 right there.
He's not.
Yeah. But
now, my take. Watching Double or Nothing. The only match that stuck out that something odd happened was the FTR and Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness match. Something did not work with that match, or something went wrong. What's your guys' take, or what have you guys heard?
It looked fine to me.
Who's the guy in the middle, bald face?
Let's see.
I can't see comments, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments.
That was just being a troll.
Before we move on to the next subject, I'd like to add to something that Country brought up, if I could. He mentioned Mark Jindrak. I know it's a different subject, but I'm surprised nobody brought it up. But y'all do realize this is a fun fact. Y'all do realize that Mark Jindrak was slated to be fourth man in Triple H and Ric Flair's group, but was replaced by Batista. Y'all do know that, right? He was going to be him and Orton, the two new guys, and somehow, some way, even with Batista's age, they decided, we're going to move you over because we like this guy better. So who knows what was pulled after OVW and Batista was or how at his age, but Mark Jindrak was supposed to be that guy.
I do actually do know the story about that. They did vignettes. They had a vignette with him and everything. They tried to do it with him, but I guess it was like Mark and Randy at the time, since they were just young guys, were just out goofing around, not being professional or something like that. And the vibe was just not working with like ride alongs and all that. So it was just not working with him. So that's why they cut him out of the Evolution and replaced him with Batista.
Okay, so I was told differently that it was political play and they like Batista's look better even with his age. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know the story, just knowing what I was told. But they wanted. I saw the original Evolution package with Jindrak in it.
Yeah,
I saw it. That's all.
Yeah.
But
It was just like while you had Flair and Triple H as the vets, you had Randy and Jindrak as the young guys, and there was like, and they were, what it was is they were being young guys and everything. So it's like, okay, we need to I think that's where they went into discussions, is like, okay, we need to replace this guy, and that's the reason why they chose Batista. He was a little old. He was a little older, and but he knew what he was doing.
He knew when to shut up, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I just Googled if there was an injury for Danny Garcia. There is no injury related. The way they went about it, I'm guessing he passed out from the sharpshooter, and that's how the FTR won the match.
Well, no, Nigel. It was Nigel McGuinness. Something went wrong with him. If you go back and watch, it's like he was just like, he was just sluggish, and it was just like, I don't know, just something went wrong with him with Nigel during the match.
Okay.
I don't know if
let me go back to it then. Let me go back.
For all we know, Nigel could have been he could have been gassed from just not being in the ring that up. You know, we don't know.
I'm doing some stuff. Hold on.
Yeah, that was yeah. Honestly, with Double or Nothing, watching it on and everything, and it's just like that was the only match that was just seemed off. That something didn't go right, or they were just not clicking together, or you know.
Back to Country's point one more time on his AEW review, which is very good, by the way. Thank you. Everybody agrees that match after the Anarchy in the Arena, who are you going to put out there? What you're going to put out there, it's not going to touch it. After you see that craziness, how are you going to survive? So you're right. I don't care who you put there. It was going to be lesser than what you just saw. So
I think the learning experience, actually, I learned a little something about watching wrestling with that, because how many times have we watched an event and be like, why is this match located at this spot of the card? And that's why they did that. I didn't even put that together until that night. You know, I was just looking at it, and it's just like they did this to keep there was no title match. It was just a 6-man grudge match, nothing. Right. I think my favorite match in the night, though, was Ricochet, because I'm proud of that. Like, dude can fly, and he's not my typical prototype of wrestler for flying and all that stuff because I can only take so much volume of that. But his heel work is on par with some of the good stuff because he makes you just want to get in that stretcher. And I thought it was a good move to put him over. To put him over your brother there.
Okay.
You know?
Sounds good. I'm an old school Ricochet fan from New Japan before WWE just wasted him. Before he came, so I'm here with the man. He was never much of a talker, but in his younger days, he was like a lighter Will Ospreay before Will Ospreay turned heavyweight, where they could just fly. They get injured, but they fly. So glad to see. If you're saying Ricochet's heel persona is getting over, whether hating on it, I'm gonna take your opinion, Con.
Feels like it. Like it's just that putting him over in a hardcore match is good for him. Because I mean, let's be real, Mark Briscoe, you know, like they wrestling tries to tell you the story and they don't normally pull the rug correctly. But like how many times did Undertaker lose a buried alive match? Every time. He never won one. You know, like they try to get you to think, oh, he's going to get his ass whooped by this dude, and then they give you the show. And I appreciated it.
How many times did Undertaker hold a title for a record amount of days? Almost never. Austin, same thing. People that didn't need the title.
Yep.
Nah, I mean, the people that needed a title back in that era, they never really gave them the title. It was a revolving going from Austin to The Rock, to Triple H, Shawn Michaels. Then they give it to Mankind. And then they're like, okay, we're going to keep it on Mankind for a little while and see how this works. Oh, wait, we'll give it to The Undertaker. Undertaker loses it back to The Rock. Austin, Rock, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. I mean, I'm like, dude.
Forgot one.
That's the Russo stuff.
I'm going to cut in one more time. You forgot one. Vince McMahon, his damn self.
That.
I could go for a Vinnie Mac run anytime because you know you're getting a good promo. I don't care what anybody says. That dude could cut it on the mic, man. Like,
man, the
crazy
fortitude.
The crazy.
When I think of the Undertaker and I think of like all these, I think the worst decision in WrestleMania history, the worst one, and we've seen Austin go heel. A lot of people go sour on that. But at WrestleMania 14, Kane should have went over the Undertaker and ended the streak.
Really?
I would agree with that because having him lose to Brock Lesnar right now has a really, really, really sour taste, no pun intended.
Not just because of that. You debuted this guy. You had months of Paul Bearer screaming, he's alive!
Understand the point.
And then remember his debut in that cell match when Kane raised his arms up and that fireworks went off? And it was the first time you saw the Undertaker sold it with the reaction, like, whoa, like he was startled. And that never happened before. So I think that if they would have put Kane over and pushed him then, he would have had more drawing power, more longevity. He didn't need to be a champion, but I think he needed to get that victory over the Undertaker at that moment. That was the right time to do it. And I think they dropped the ball right there.
Yeah, because the one title reign he got, he won it at a pay-per-view, then lost it the following Monday night. Like, what kind of bullshit is that? I would have been mad.
He won that World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, but that was later. But this is when he first came out.
Yeah.
I think he could have really raised the enigma on him even more instead of just being the Undertaker's brother at that point. He would have been the man that conquered the dead man.
Yeah.
After stalking him and this whole story played out, this long-term storytelling.
And it makes
swing and a miss.
It makes sense. Vince originally planned. We saw him do it. That he did. Glenn Jacobs was not going to be permanent Kane. Like, I own the Kane character. I've been this route before. I'm going to put somebody else in that role. You could have had Kane be an immortal character that never ended and done it like that. But it's a little too, for me personally, a little too soon to end Undertaker's reign, even though it's his brother. I think Orton would have been the one the first time, and they did when he was Legend Killer. And I think that final Triple H match, that could have convinced me. The rest, I didn't believe in. I didn't believe anybody could beat Undertaker. Not a clue.
Well, here's a segue since we're talking about Vinnie Mac. How does I want to ask the question. Now, I won't give it to Country first because he's the one who brought up the Vinnie Mac thing. How do you feel about Johnny Ace testifying against Vince McMahon?
Why don't you come back to me? Come back to me and ask Phil. Ask Phil first.
Okay. Okay.
Ask
I'll
Phil.
ask Phil. Phil, how do you feel
Go through the Rolodex.
Johnny
All right.
Ace testifying against Vinnie Mac?
Well, he has a lot more to lose than Vince does. He just got through a divorce. It's the right thing. You'll get less and less trouble, providing all the evidence, I mean, if anyone has the evidence on Vince, it's obviously his right-hand man, Johnny Ace.
But how do you feel about it?
I mean, Johnny Ace is a rat and everything. Of course he's going to squeal.
I mean, with Vince McMahon, all right, so I'm a fan of Vince. I mean, dude is outrageous, and I'm in my mid-40s, and I've realized that he lived his life like lifting weights and doing real alpha male shit and doing retarded, and doing questionable things as well. And I don't know if I believe this lawsuit for some reason. I don't know, because it's hard for me when there's a case like this, right? I'm of the camp that you need to say it right away. The longer you wait, the more credibility you lose. And an ideal situation is like, and I know this isn't a political thing, but like Brett Kavanaugh, when he went for the Supreme Court, this girl said that he did something to her in 1982 or whatever it was, but now he's up for the Supreme Court, so it needs to be a story. That's what I'm saying. Like, the longer the statute is, the less likely I'm to believe you, or you're trying to be a money grabber. If something happens and it's immediate and it's quick and it's within a year, I'll give you something. But this, was happening, and she continued to see him and lived on her own. It's not like he held her captive. I think she was a willing participant in his ridiculousness. I do. And I think that the money train ended, and she tried to put one up on Vince McMahon, and that's really hard to do. But we'll see what he has to say. We'll see what Johnny Ace has to say. Because I don't know what the criminal charges would be. It would be just a civil lawsuit for all I can understand.
Well,
what's the criminal charge?
Well, for him going up against Vince McMahon, I think the actual criminal charge got dropped, and now they are going for money. Yeah. Now she's wanting all the money. And because the criminal charge got, I think he was found innocent, but she went to another judge and said, well, okay, I can't put him in prison, and here's this. I want all this, and I want this now. And they have all these legalities and all these things, and Johnny Ace was a defendant against her, and now he is a co-conspirator, I guess you would say.
Oh, yes, co-conspirator.
Co-conspirator in this, because now he's applying or giving. Now, if he gives away any kind of criminal charging and anything like that, it's going to open up that can of worms again. That's going to open up a can of worms, because he was found innocent of the criminal charges. But I don't know if they can charge him for anything like that. I don't know.
Hey, I've seen Vince McMahon in a judge's outfit before.
We all have.
Yeah, we all have.
Yeah, but it's crazy, man. So me personally, how I feel about Johnny Ace. Well, I'll go last, but how about you, Jordan? How do you feel?
Okay, let's go over the logistics here and the legal stuff, because I've been watching this, I've been listening, and this week he pretty much her lawyers brag he's gonna spill it all. Okay, Johnny Ace is pretty much guilty because Vince McMahon, I don't care who he handed who, you cannot do human trafficking legally. There's no way around that. The real life, even though it's not proven yet, the accusations are that she was his breakfast, Johnny Ace's breakfast. Vince did what he had to do to Janelle Grant. He handed Janelle Grant to Johnny Ace as a fuck toy. Everyone had her traveling. Okay, that's illegal right there. Now, yes, proven innocent till guilty. Yes. All right, there's still more. The Johnny's banging her, doing all this shit, whatever. He's like using her to pay John, like hook him up. John, of course, her lawyers are gonna be like, "Hey, we'll cut you the damn deal if you, man. We're gonna take down Johnny Ace and get a few $1 million. We're gonna take down the global mogul, Vince McMahon, with massive money, and that goes in our pocket, our rep plus the money. Yeah, they want Vince. It's like the meth dealer versus the meth. They want the big guy. They want Vince to shine that off and get more money. So they're gonna tell Johnny Ace, rat him out, cut a deal. We're gonna make it worth your time. You know you gotta put up some shit, but sell him out, and we won't break you, rape you, and put you away. And Johnny, yeah, of course I'll give it away. Yeah, you bet. So Johnny Ace is gonna rat. There's nothing Vince could do no more. He doesn't have the power. Johnny Ace is gonna completely sell Vince McMahon under the bus in this whole law. Get himself. It's like you got caught with drugs. You're handing over the dealer. That's what this is. That's exactly what this is. Vince is Johnny Ace's daddy in this whole matter, even though he got hooked up. And it all goes back to Vince because Vince has more money, more power, more for the lawyers to take, more to say, I'm this good at beating your ass. Hire me as your lawyer. I'm going to be the next Johnny Cocker. Hire me. I'm Vince's ex-attorney that got him out of all the lawsuits. That's the whole thing is political and money-driven. Johnny Ace will play by the rules, even though he's a snake in the grass. Yes, he's a bitch and a snake in the grass. But he's going to play by the rules, sell Vince down the toilet, and he's going to try his ass to save his own ass.
How do you feel about it, Josh?
Honestly, I have not seen media circus like this around somebody since Michael Jackson.
Hold on. There was one other one. Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
Well, no.
That bitch shit in his bed, dude.
That's all.
No. Honestly, the way this is playing out, it's for some, I don't know, for some reason,
dog stepped on a bee.
Michael Jackson just pops in my head with this. It's like he beats all these other charges, but it's like then all of a sudden, cuts all these. What do you call it? It's like the void jail time. He just does a payout. So if Vince is gonna go,
are you okay, country?
I just was thinking, like, this chick probably filed a lawsuit because she had to sleep with Johnny Ace. Like, I'm getting something out of this. Because I could just see it. Did he take her out in that little scooter with the people powers? I was just making myself laugh. Like, I could see her having regret, waking up and looking in the mirror and saying, I did that with Johnny Ace for nothing.
Hey, country. I'm going to jump in real quick. Hey, country, what do you think's worse? Having to sleep with Johnny Ace being her or getting shit on the head by Vince McMahon for a lot of money? What's worse?
The shit. Like, shit is disgusting. It's the shit, and it's not even close.
But
Johnny Ace I'm sorry, Josh, but like I was making myself laugh because I just think she looks at herself in the mirror and said, "You did this to yourself. You better get some money."
No kid. But yeah, the way this is playing out, it just, I don't know, like I said, it just, to me, it's playing out like a Michael Jackson scenario. And like, I'm gonna assume a big payout is going to either coming or like some damaging evidence, because really nothing with Michael Jackson ever happened to him until after he died. Then all of a sudden people started coming forward. I'm like, wait a minute.
I'm gonna correct you. I'm gonna correct and politically. Michael Jackson had the greatest lawyer of the 90s.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true.
He had Johnny Cochran, the same man that got OGL. I know this for a fact because I was at work 2005 when this happened. But after Michael Jackson beat the first charges and Johnny Cochran got him off with the kids, Johnny Cochran came on TV and said, "Hell no." He says, "I told her the first time, man, I got you off of this shit. Stay away from the children. Stay away from the children." And he go touch him again. I said, "No, I ain't defending him this time. No, I ain't getting involved."
That's what Vince's lawyer did. Is like, hey,
that's why I'm bringing it up. Vince's
And
classic.
he died. It's crazy thing is that Johnny Cochran died in 2005 on March 29th.
McDivitt was the classic lawyer that got Vince off of the blowjob with the first female ringing up, the steroid kid, all of the charges with the women, everything, even Ashley Massaro's murder. Jeremy McDivitt, long-time lawyer. He retired. Now Vince is in trouble. That's why I bring it up. Same thing like Johnny Cochran. You got a good lawyer, and you got a damn good lawyer, you good. You ain't got a good lawyer, you fuck. Hey, carry on, Josh.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this is my comparison. Is like it's just a media circus, and it's all about it's the money. It's the money.
More
money.
And
Vince is more money than Johnny Ace.
Yeah, he is. But here's my take on this. Is how I feel about it. He beat a criminal charge. So now it's all civilly, and now it's about money. See, she wanted to put him away for years in penitentiary and live and die in prison. And he beat that. So what's the next best thing to do? Hurt his pocketbook.
It's gonna end in a out of court money pay.
Oh, dude. I don't see it going to trial. Period. I really don't. I'm gonna tell you what I personally believe. Like I was saying earlier off air, I don't know if he was innocent or guilty of the criminal charges, because everything that stemmed from the criminal charges, everybody was Vince didn't do anything wrong. Now, here it is about money. Everybody is saying Vince did everything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you say one aspect is okay, but the other aspect is not? They
were going to go after. That's where Johnny Ace. He's going to testify. He's going to testify against Vince, because I bet you it's like, hey, if you don't do this, we're going after everything you own.
More than that, dude. If you get the reputation of I'm a lawyer, I smoked Vince McMahon, I got money out of Vince McMahon, not Johnny Ace. You tell Johnny Ace we're gonna cut you half a deal. You only got to suffer this. We can't get enough money out of it anyway. They're gonna strangle Vince. Get in the rep. Janelle Grant is going to get an out-of-court. This is my prediction. Janelle Grant will get an out-of-court settlement, this undisclosed amount from Vince McMahon and company. The lawyers will get to say we are good enough to beat a Vince McMahon. Johnny Ace will be cut in half for his shit, so they'll just take half of his shit instead of everything they would have took from him, or say we'll kill you because you only worth $2 or $3 million or whatever the fuck he is. And that's what I think it's going to be. And before we jump subjects, you were talking about Michael Jackson and Vince. Dude, all of that's getting ready to get smoked. I don't want to change subjects. This whole Puff Daddy thing, this is going to last 20 years, dude. Not him, the hotels, the people. That's going to be the biggest scandal in modern history of sex trafficking, all this bullshit. That's going to be the biggest thing until we probably die.
Well, yeah, because it ain't going nowhere, dude. And speaking of the P. Diddy situation, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call him, Sean Combs, whatever, I don't care. Go ahead, Phil.
I can understand why sometimes some people hold it down, because sometimes they're embarrassed about what happened to them. It takes a lot of to some people. I'm crediting the victim, actual victims. it takes a while for them because sometimes it's very embarrassing for them, you know.
Okay, I got to point to this, Phil. Now this is my question for you. Okay, so Bill Cosby supposedly gave people drinks
with Quaaludes in them.
Okay, 30 to 40 years later, they come forward. You think that's appropriate?
No.
It's just kind of weird that it took that long and everything.
That's right. Like, that's what I was talking about earlier.
They were worried about the power, though, for what I heard.
But they found the man guilty, but then they had to go back and make the man innocent. So my thing is, why in the fuck would you even find the man guilty to begin with?
More money later on when courts value.
Dude spent close to $1 billion in court fees. Mm-hmm. Close to $1 billion. Bill Cosby almost went bankrupt because of this shit.
You know what? I'm surprised he didn't go bankrupt.
And the crazy thing about it is the California government said, we're not giving you anything back. You're innocent though.
They kept that shit.
Yeah, destroyed. Basically, I'm not going to say he did or didn't. I'm not going to say he's innocent or guilty because, like I said, 30. You're right on the 30 years, but did it happen? We're like that, but
that's what I'm saying.
But also, it's like it took him all these years to come forward. You destroyed a man's legacy,
his career.
Your career, like I don't think he ever could do a comedy show again.
Like thing is about that,
and the multi years that the Cosby Show has been off the air, and yet it's been in circulation on TV networks
for years.
For years, and all of a sudden that's off, and that was a paycheck right there. Heck, I don't even think you can find the season on DVD.
I think what's important is when you have a situation like this where it's a he said, she said, I think there has to be a statute of limitations. It's not like a murder. Like, that's different. If you kill somebody and they find it 40 years later, you should still be charged with that because you killed somebody.
Yeah.
But if you're doing something like this, and Bill Cosby had a pretty clean image. I mean, he cared about black universities. He had Fat Albert. He did tons of stuff for kids. What was that? He did that show. What was the name of that show when he would do the drawings?
Fat Albert.
No. What the darndest thing?
Picture pages. He did that, and then he's all about empowering people and stuff like that. And human beings, were flawed, but I think that there has to be a time limit.
He also didn't he also host Kids Say the Darndest Things?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I'm
sorry, man.
No matter that.
Yeah, your R2D2 ain't working too good there, Jordan.
How about now?
Yeah, your R2D2 is working again.
Okay, I was listening to y'all. I was outside taking a leak. I was listening to y'all, and I wanted to throw.
TMI, bro.
I wanted to throw in. I don't remember what the show was called, but let's not forget Bill Cosby worked with PBS and like the public broadcasting service and did a kids program where he would draw.
Is he even on Sesame
Picture
Street?
Pages. That's what he was saying. Picture Pages.
Yeah,
what it was called. I'm gonna have to look that up. It's been when it came out, I watched it.
It was called Picture Pages.
I'm gonna look that up. That's not forever.
But that's the craziest thing. So that, and the whole other thing too, before we get off this subject, there's one other person like that too, with Bob Barker, supposedly doing the things with the women of Price is Right.
I read everything there is to know about that, and I grew up with the original three girls, like not the original three, but the big three, like Diana, and Holly, and I read all of this stuff. So if ever you want to know about that, I got everything down.
So I guess the price was wrong.
So the thing is, I had to say about that though, Jordan, is do you think he was guilty of it?
Most definitely, because he had to pay out And it's not just pale because he was guilty, because behind the scenes, the youngest blonde from our time, Diane, she was in a relationship with Bob. Now they were she accepted this, but he purposely, my favorite, Holly, the tall curly dark haired one.
Mm-hmm.
She fought him so hard. She was living in a car at 40 years old. She fought him so hard legally. She got fired because she was pregnant. She didn't look good pregnant. But today, if you work in a Hooters or any kind of restaurant, you cannot discriminate like that.
Well, you can't.
Well,
yeah, I wish they would discriminate.
Just
Jesus
put them in the
Christ, man.
Hey, just make them wash dishes.
well,
There is some more news I want to talk about, but that's a good segue. This right here had nothing to do with Jordan's points, but here's a segue for you. Hulk Hogan is trying to buy Hooters.
yes, he is.
And I want to ask the question to you first, Jordan. How do you feel about that?
Well, let's talk about the legal. I know y'all can't see me right now outside smoking. Sorry, people watching, but y'all
TMI. I don't care.
But let's go over the legal stuff first. So this is Hogan's money people, his sponsors, the real American beer people. His team said, let's look into and place a bid for Hooters up because they're struggling financially. We're seeing a lot of images online of, if he makes it. None of that is true. None of that is proven of what he would turn. We don't. The most important thing is 10-1. Hogan and his people are going to be outbidded by somebody else to get Hooters. So I would not put a lot of stock or trust into the Hulk Hogan brand or his people getting the play. I would seriously doubt it, because from what I'm told, there's 3 or 4 people all place a bid. So
what do you think of Jordan? What do you think of Tai Chi from New Japan Pro Wrestling gets it?
Oh my God, beautiful singing voice, wonderful man.
Damn right.
Real. Yes, he would be terrific.
It'd be beautiful. We probably get Miho as well.
Oh my.
But now, so Jordan is saying that he don't think Hogan's going to get it.
I don't.
What if he did though?
I mean, you're gonna look. They have these internet images. I don't know if y'all see him in Hogan gear and all the Patriot and the flags and all. That's cool. And he said he would rebrand shit and all, but don't. Let's say you've got a show on FX and you're gonna bid against Netflix, or you're gonna bid against one of the big studios, NBC, ABC, CBS. I just don't think his investors can hang up 3 with it. I honestly don't. Kind of like when WWE was being sold, the Saudis were like, "Hey, we're interested," and yeah, they had plenty of money, but they were like, "Man, this is gonna look very bad, and it's gonna be a useless product. So let's see if we can, get somebody more reputable to get this thing." And look at what TKO is for the stranglehold on everybody, but they've got. That's just why main Vegas TKO live there, and they have legal liens on it to where they release the tax cuts that they're going to get from doing. Mania is going to get a $4.2 million tax cut just for being in Vegas again and saying piss off New Orleans. The other reason why.
Hey, Jordan. I hate to cut you off there, bro. But that you're off topic.
Okay.
So, you don't think he's going to get it, and if he did, it will be different. I understand, but how do you feel about it, country?
Actually, I'll get back to it. Let's ask Phil. He's been awfully quiet tonight, man.
Yeah, let's get Phil. Phil, how do you feel about if Hogan got Hooters, man?
I mean, if he buys it, he buys it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. You know, I mean, it doesn't really bother me one bit. But it just sucks for like a lot of the waitresses, because of what happened. Because I have a feeling a lot.
Have you seen the waitresses at Hooters nowadays?
They almost look like the waitresses at Waffle House.
Hey, man, how about this? I could see Hulk Hogan buying it, and I can see him plugging Real American Beer. And I think that you guys know how I feel about Hulk Hogan, but the man has a business savvy to pull it off. He's like Trump about that stuff. Stuff don't really stick to him. This kind of stuck to him a little bit, but wrestling fans are.
But then it makes me think of what happened with Pasta Mania back in the 90s.
So how about this? Let me tell you something, dudes. Come get some pasta at Hooters, brother. What you gonna do with these large meatballs hanging out these girls' chest, brother? And you can wash it down with a Real American Beer. Take it, Tucker, and then bam, he could have it would. He could buy out every abandoned Shoney's in SEC country and just replace them with Hulk Hogan's.
Wow, dude, you can go with the Shoney's, bro. Wow, man, you could do Western Sizzler, right? I mean, that's lowbrow. Jesus, man.
Exactly.
Hell, is Sizzler even fucking around?
Yes,
No,
there's
I'm just saying that Hogan may do something stupid with, not bring, any any. Because I like women of different races.
Yeah. Oh.
I like Asian. I'm attracted to women, Black, Asian, Latina. And
well, let me challenge you on that. So Hulk Hogan's image is wrecked because of a racial slur. If you're trying to make money, I don't think first of all, I don't think Hulk Hogan's going to have any hiring say in staff. And secondly, I think this go around, he would be so cautious to avoid something like that again, because it would just absolutely ruin. Like, this would be like his last lifeline. In fact, I think he'd double down. And if he, they don't do commercials for Hooters that I can recall, but in advertisements, you wouldn't see, just blonde, white Nordic angels. You'd see all sorts of everything else. That's my take on it. Like, Hogan's, he's smart about his business stuff. Like, he got that trademark off of Marvel. He doesn't fumble that bag very often. So I would just, I'm not, I don't think that, and I also don't think that he's inherently what he said that day. I think he just was more concerned about his daughter. And I think a fatherly thing, as inappropriate as what he said is kind of what took toll there.
Now, I want to go on the fact that somebody is bringing up on my comment about the staff of Hooters right now. I'm going to say, it's like, I don't mind thick girls. Well,
that's what you're referring to right there? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, it's like some dudes like their Hooters girls with more meat and fat on them, fat and flavor. Yeah, but the thing is, there's thick girls and there's like beautiful. Don't get me wrong, there's beautiful thick girls out there, but damn. I don't know if you've been in the Hooters as of nowadays. You go in there, it's like.
And if Hulk is smart, I don't mean to cut you off, Josh. I don't, but I think this just somewhat made me think of something. If Hulk is smart, TKO, he could pitch to TKO to buy Hooters, and if TKO goes into partnership with that and buys Hooters, you remember how they had WWF New York? Just imagine if you had a chain of a very well-known name of Hooters, and it's like, hey, come watch the wrestling event here, and make it an event. I think that's when you can, and they're going to be like, okay, we can give this a whirl, because Hooters is an establishment. It's not a one restaurant in nowhere. People know that. Men know that. Men of all ages know that, and people do take their sons there. You want to take your son for some Real American Beer, look at some Real American women, watch some Real American wrestling. I tell you what, let's get on out there. Roll Tide.
But now here's my take on that whole situation. Do they own the streaming rights exclusively, or are they still gonna let Dave and Buster's and Buffalo Wild Wings and other places of that nature still have rights to actually do the same thing?
He's right. You can't cut that money. But
if you have ownership, if you own Hooters, to hell with them franchises. You run your own. That's like Floyd Mayweather is about ownership, and that's why he's so stupidly wealthy. I think that Hooters with wrestling, and because wrestling fans, I know that they're not like my people, but they are loyal as shit, and they spend a ton of money on the product. And absolutely, I think it would just take off. I think that it would be a reopening of chains because Hooters, gives you chicken wings, and then you just get the women wrestlers to show up, have a meet and greet at Hooters. Here we go. Like it's not like you're waiting in line at a Verizon store somewhere to meet, whoever you want to meet. You can go send that girl with that fat ass out there. What's her name? Nikita Lyons all over Hooters, and there would be a line from here to Texas, man, straight down the I-10.
I would be first in line and have married twice and divorced 3 times.
He'd have Louisiana. He'd want the Louisiana hot sauce ones over there.
Oh, Nikita Lyons, that's built like what I like. Can I jump in on this real quick? I just want to go over some. Don't get me wrong. We like Nikita Lyons. She's used the company. She's now legally. Okay, to the Hooters subject, you have to have representative of different races. You have to. Legally, no matter who you are, you have to have representative or you'd be in trouble. That's the way the law works.
That's employment law.
Yes. The second thing is to about if you own it and you distribute rights, and the country was saying, why, unless you own it and you could say yes, you can get it to it, pay me, why would you lock yourself into just a Hooters when I'm gonna use this for example? I'm Louisiana, LSU. So you buy Tiger Vision. The way it works is if you're in a bar room, you don't pay a fee like at your house. You pay by the bar stool. But in 2012, it was $27 a bar stool. A bar stool for you to show Tiger Vision. 27 a bar stool. And it also depends on how many entrances and exits you have for emergencies. This is how that works. So let's say Hogan or TKO had Hooters. Okay. Yes, you're going to show it there. You can get a discount. You don't have to charge yourself. But yes, you're going to want to sell it to a Dave or other companies because why are you not going to get the product out there? Why are you not going to make money? Those advertisers, those revenues, those sponsors. That's where the money is. That's why Monday Night Raw was 3 hours. Now SmackDown is on TV. That's that whole reason for that last hour. They make $1 million in advertisement from 9 to 12.
All right, so this is my take on this whole situation of Hulk Hogan buying Hooters. It's a good and bad thing. It's a double-edged sword. It's a great thing because he's helping a floundering business, and it's bringing the like Country said, the beer to the masses. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, gentlemen, I will not pay the price for whatever the fuck Hogan's beer is. I don't give a damn. I don't care if it tastes great. I don't give a fuck. I don't like the taste of beer. I like sour beer. I like sour mash. I do. I'm a big fan of sour mash. But as far as the food goes at Hooters, dude, in the 90s, it was the best wings you could get.
Mm-hmm.
Early 2000s, it was still there. But then they opened up this other chain called Twin Peaks.
And Buffalo Wild Wings.
And Buffalo Wild Wings is nothing like this. Buffalo Wild Wings is nothing like a Hooters.
Yeah.
It's not. And people want to say it is. It's not. Hooters and Twin Peaks were about the same area.
And Twin Peaks is better.
Huh?
Twin Peaks is the one down here.
It is. But it's hard to find one. It's hard to find one because a lot of them got closed up after COVID.
And see, we got all the hot chicks at ours in Baton Rouge on the radio every day.
See, that's cool as shit. But the Hooters, however, the quality of the food dwindled down so bad. Their hottest hot sauce now tastes like it's not hot.
I'm not even gonna gripe about that, dude. The chicken itself, quality chicken, is
sad.
Degraded. Like I went into one in Baton Rouge, close to college campus at LSU, in years ago, and the quality was piss poor. Dude, we were almost ready to have money back. We're like, what garbage are we putting in this kitchen? It was like, what the fuck?
And most of the beer is flat.
Yeah. And down here, I'm just gonna throw this in here and I'll shut up. Down here, a good Hooters is more considered a family restaurant. Kids, women, and daughters, wives want to eat more than the men.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, because it's the atmosphere now, man. It's a whole different atmosphere. And
we can get with the times and get some HLA.
God almighty. But my whole take is, if he buys it, that's a great thing for America. America. For the sense of it's going to rebuild it. Because if I remember in the early 2000s, John Gruden and what was that other coach that was the coach of Tampa Bay Buccaneers? What was his name? That was John Gruden, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, he tried to help build back Hooters, and then all the scandals came out against him, and it hurt Hooters more than anything because a lot of people quit going to Hooters. And now, if you go into a Hooters, they have regular scheduled programming, but they don't advertise events. They don't advertise anything for UFC, MLB,
doing everything back when I remember.
Yeah, back in the day, dude, you could go in there and watch a pay-per-view.
Yeah. So hold on. So that goes back to TKO. Doesn't TKO and UFC?
Yeah. But the thing is, though, man, I mean, like Jordan was saying, if you have all this going on one franchise and you have the rights to these things, it's smart to own it, yes, but it's also smart to get people to buy it from you too, because of the fact of it is, I'm gonna be honest, you can go to Dave & Buster's and watch an AEW pay-per-view for free. You can go to Dave & Buster's and watch a UFC fight or a WWE pay-per-view for free. Now, when you go to Buffalo Wild Wings, you can only watch UFC fights. You can't watch a WWE pay-per-view or an AEW pay-per-view. You have to pay for that. Me personally, I'm not spending $600 fucking dollars for me to watch a fucking pay-per-view at a restaurant that I can't even fucking hear.
Well, I think a lot of that could be easily solved with acoustics and logistics. I mean, when you go to Dave & Buster's, you're playing games. That's more of an event than it is a bar setting or a it's more of an event for Dave & Buster's. But I think that I guess my business acumen would say exclusivity. So it would be, okay, I like to compare it to management. If I ran a football team, right? Let's say I'm the manager of the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, this is just me speaking. I don't give a shit about the NFL. I give a shit about the Arizona Cardinals. And I want you to come to my house to watch the Cardinals. So if I own all these Cardinal bars across the United States, and you can get, I mean, the Cardinals are a bad example because they're a lousy football team, but I'm going to invest in them so much. If TKO said Hooters is the only place where you can watch Monday Night Raw, where you can watch WrestleMania, you could watch UFC, and it's a $20 minimum, right? And that's a reasonable price because you're not paying full price for it at home, and we're going to serve you these wings and have these beautiful women, and then you just upgrade. I think that it could be an absolute dominant franchise. I do, because Dave & Buster's will start to panic. But no offense to AEW, but
it's never gonna happen.
No, WWE is the cash cow. UFC is a cash cow. UFC has events in the other countries, and they have it at noon. Come in for our lunch special. Now,
piggybacking off of what you're saying, Country, about cash cow. WWE tickets right now are so astronomically, outrageously expensive that me and the rest of us guys cannot afford to pay to go to even see the show unless we want to wait until the day of release and they have 10 or 15, 20 seats available for the nosebleed section at $35, $40 a pop. Okay. Now, that's the crazy thing. AEW, I don't know how much you paid for floor tickets, but I guarantee you it was nowhere near floor ticket prices for a WWE event.
Sure, but you're not going to go. But yes and no. So if you got Netflix or if you got Peacock, you get the events anyway, which is from your own comfort of your home. You're trying to build an experience that's as close as you can get to something like this. I think COVID kind of crippled that. The whole camaraderie and stuff like that because everybody stayed at home, and it's been a slow rebuild for people to just hang out if they can market, come see UFC, come see WWE, come look at our girls, come drink our beer, come eat these wings, and have a good fucking time at a reasonable price, and make it. The key to business is the supply and the demand, and you want the supply to be so limited and the demand to be so high that people are waiting in line to hope to get in that fucking place. You do that, that's how you say, man. And then your fans go, right? And they have, if I took Phil, and who hates WWE, I know he does, and I said, Phil, I'm going to buy you beer, I'm going to treat you. All of us, if we all went, you're trying to tell me he wouldn't even have a good time? He'd even have a good time. We could bitch about the matches, but we'd be eating food, hanging out, drinking
I
beer.
wouldn't like the 20-minute commercials.
See? There's always somebody. But I'd have enough beer in him to where he wouldn't give a shit. That's what I'm saying. And then it would be such a good experience. He'd be like, man, we need to do that again. If it's UFC, you know.
But
I wouldn't mind UFC though.
But if the food sucks so bad,
change the food.
If
you're rebranding it, get new vendors. You don't have to use that vendor.
Get the original recipes back.
Right. And if you drink enough beer, you eat shitty food. How many people get drunk and go to White Castle?
How many people get drunk and go to Waffle House?
Right. Well, Waffle House is good. I like it.
I've been wanting to go to Waffle House for since this guy interviews a lot of wrestlers, both WWE, AEW, or like on their what would they order at Waffle House, and makes me want to go get some hash brown right now.
And then picture this: there's a WWE Raw somewhere or an event, and they have a fucking like Anarchy Rules match at Hooters. Dude, that would be the people that were in that Hooters would just be screaming.
All
little
bit of them.
Hooter on a pole match. We don't care. You know, like I don't know what the hell you want to call it, but I'm just.
See, you guys are lucky. You guys got Waffle House, but you know what? You know what I got? I got White Castle.
I got White Castle too.
Oh, we got Crystal, bro.
Hey, Mike.
Same thing as a damn White Castle.
Hey, Mike. I don't want to change subject yet, but something I wanted to get on to, I thought would be a pretty good headline this week. We haven't touched yet, but let me know when you're ready.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was about to segue into something really, really cool because of the WWE stuff we were talking about with TKO.
I'm on WWE, but it's something I really think I'd like to hear what y'all have to say about it.
Before you bring it up, I'm going to interrupt because I'm going to log off. I got to get in the shower and go lie down, but I'll tune back into the show. But it's hot.
I would like to hear Country's opinion on this as well as all four of y'all. But this one of the big four things I want to talk about. We kind of touched on one thing this, but so AAA is having their final show not under the WWE banner officially. Okay, so now I'm like, all right. Well, they advertised ahead of time. The Triple Crown champion is whatever Del Rio wants to call himself. Okay, he's the big champ.
The mega champion. That's what the title is. The mega champion. Yeah.
Okay. Well, they made them. We lost.
Yeah. He said he's gonna get a shower. He's hot. Dude lives in Phoenix, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I want to get his opinion on this too because they went ahead. And WWE pretended this last AAA event that hasn't happened yet hasn't happened. And they've announced Vikingo as the new champ defending. This is public knowledge. Vikingo is the new AAA champ. Del Rio
without beating Del Rio?
Del Rio is the champ, but they're saying that Vikingo is going to be champion at Triple Mania.
They basically spoiled it for us.
They are advertising the first WWE AAA event as Vikingo is already champ against a new challenger. So
Chad Gable.
Now the catch is, and this relates to another subject I wanted to talk about this week, because another wrestling company made a big boo-boo and screwed up renouncing a champion or a winner before winner. They're saying that WWE is doing this on purpose, saying fuck what AAA was, and we don't want people to focus on Del Rio. We want to get the attention away from him, so we don't care that he hasn't even lost the belt yet this weekend, which is when this event's supposed to be happening. And WWE's already announcing Vikingo champ versus. That's what I wanted to get y'all's opinion on. This is a pretty big story this week.
When did they announce that he was champion? Because they didn't do it on Raw. They did?
No, it's not.
No.
Television deal. This is advertisements for premium.
Yeah, that's right. At Worlds Collide, it has Vikingo holding up the actual AAA championship on the.
And the last real AAA show with Del Rio fighting Vikingo supposed to be the weekend that hasn't happened yet. Del Rio is still champ, whatever you want to call him. Del Rio is not going to be champ because they're already advertising Vikingo as champ to the public for the first WWE event of AAA. That's what I wanted to talk to y'all about and see what y'all thought.
Where did they advertise it at?
Yeah, I've seen there's actually visual clip of there's the entire like a fight card. There's the picture.
I've seen the what you call it, the
graphic.
Like the poster board. I know what you're talking about. I seen that, but I didn't see him with the championship. I know they showed it on Raw.
Well, the problem was the comments. They're like, watch Vikingo defend his newly won title against the challenger. They screwed. Mike can go do a little research and find it, but it exists. And this came up, and this was advertised on World Wrestling News a few days ago. And I was like, I gotta talk to the guys, see how they feel this. Now,
this is what happened. This is exactly what happened. WWE accidentally spoiled the results of the upcoming AAA Mega Championship match between El Hijo del Vikingo and Alberto Del Rio. Alberto El Patron, formerly Alberto Del Rio of WWE.
Yes.
Over the weekend, WWE announced that Chad Gable will be fighting Vikingo at the WWE AAA Worlds Collide event in June.
For the title.
On YouTube.
No.
It's going to be on YouTube.
It's WWE's first when they're going to own AEW or pretty much acquired it. This is going to be the first joint show. And there's a lot, and there's a lot of titles that are changing, but we don't care about that. Let's talk about the big one. That's why we're talking about the bitch at Del Rio.
You're talking about AAA, not AEW.
No, we're talking about WWE and AAA.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get you guys' opinion, which now they're announcing that the reason WWE did this is on purpose because they want the American fans to be like, we don't want to be associated with Del Rio, so we're going to pretend he doesn't even exist. Now, I think it's brilliant. It might not be the nicest thing in the world. I think it's brilliant that TKO signed Del Rio, or whatever he wants to call himself, El Patron, doesn't matter. Signed him, got him under control, said, yes, you work for us now, so we're legally guaranteed. We're covered. Now, we're taking the belt off you, and you got to shut up or we'll sue your ass because we know the kind of human being you are. Mm-hmm. It sounds like a dirty move because it's a business thing, and some of us might say, well, it sounds like you got fucked. But with Del Rio's history and how he is, how else could you trust him? Knowing all of that now, the four of y'all, give me y'all comments on how you feel about this being exposed as being a real thing and all the details I told you. Del Rio is contracted WWE, not going to be on U.S. television. They have control of him. They're taking the belt off of him and many other stars. Vikingo's getting it. He already was announced he's defending against your boy. Give me y'all's opinions on I see this. How do I feel about it? That's what I want to know.
Honestly, to me,
Vikingo's a great song.
It kind of spoils everything. I mean, I'm pretty sure Vikingo and Del Rio are going to have an awesome match. Don't get me wrong. They're going to throw the bells and whistles on it, but also at the same time, it's like you just kind of buried it. To me, it kind of buried them. And it's like now, because I'm pretty sure him and Vikingo had a plan to pull off an awesome match to give him the title. But at the same time, now it got exposed that he's already winning. It's like, so he could just go out there and do the finger poke of doom.
But you have to remember, here's the legal catch, and I'm gonna jump back in before you finish talking.
Yeah.
Bill signed to WWE, not WWE's regular roster. He signed to follow their orders under AAA. Only 8 people were signed. So they have TKO has legally protected themselves. No matter what Del Rio does, you either follow our orders or we sue your bitch ass. So Del Rio's probably pissed that they're like, okay, we signed you. Great to have you. You're dropping the title next week to Vikingo. All right, you're doing that live. All right, and we'll tell you what we do with you after. That kind of attitude is what I want to see. What you
like hey, that's normal business moniker. Is like it's like hey, yeah, you're gonna drop the title to Vikingo at this pay per view. Like okay, cool, but to spoil it.
Well, this ain't the first time WWE has done this.
Yeah.
And they've done it
some
several times.
controversial stuff. I mean,
they've done it several times, and this time right now, as being as controversial as Alberto Del Patron is, or whatever you want to call
it.
Look
who they. I mean, they fucking signed Logan Paul to a fucking deal.
That's no one cares.
I do.
Well, he's not controversial. He's a controversial YouTuber. Well, he's just a YouTuber that became a wrestler. That's it.
Let's call Logan Paul what he is. He's pretend goey heat.
He's a cosplaying wrestler.
He's pretend goey heat, and they're
gonna. But I'm gonna tell you this. After all the stuff he's done, like they said, he's been coasting through some of these matches and everything. But they're starting to put him against Gunther. I'm sorry.
I don't like
Gunther is a no bullshit fucking wrestler.
I don't like
he's gonna make his ass work. If he works with Gunther, you know what? That's it. It's like I will consider him a wrestler because Gunther is gonna work his ass.
He's gonna make him pay his fucking dues.
Fans, y'all are saying Gunther. If Triple H tells Gunther, "Hey, tone it down. Don't beat this dude up. We want him to be our future." Okay, boss. Y'all are looking at this.
Yeah, I mean,
but at the same, but we're getting off.
Gunther's a tough son of a bitch. I like his attitude. I think he's the most fresh breath of air, real competitor WWE's had in years. I like the whole stick. I like it, and he should murder a Logan Paul. Is he going to murder Logan Paul? No. Logan Paul's going to end up. I swear, guys, y'all gonna be mad. A couple of years, if Braun Breaker ain't there, Logan Paul is gonna be fighting Dominic Mysterio in the main event of WrestleMania. I'm sorry.
Jesus, if it goes that route, I will definitely not watch wrestling on any probably for a while.
If it goes years later, it's like he would have earned his dues by then. I'm sorry. It's like I'll give a benefit of a doubt. I mean, we're talking years down the line. And it's like Logan Paul versus Dominic Mysterio in a main event at WrestleMania. If it's I'm talking years.
I'm talking under 5. I mean
that's years. I'm not talking like a decade or nothing. I'm gonna say
it's got to be at least a decade. It's got to be at least a decade, dude. It's got to be.
It'd be too old. Logan Paul's gonna be too old.
That's my point.
Yeah,
he has to. Look.
We're getting off a little bit off subject.
I know we are, but hear me out. Logan Paul's situation against Gunther. If they make Gunther to be the William Regal to Goldberg,
woo!
I will have so much respect for WWE to do that. Now, do I believe that will happen? Fuck no.
Never. Triple H will never. Gunther's a team player, dude. They fought for years to get Gunther just to say, I'm willing to be a main event talent and come live over here. For years, he wouldn't do it because he didn't want to move. He's a team player. He's
about that money.
But still, they are using. I'm gonna.
Getting divorced too.
I'm gonna throw this out to y'all. And this is a reference I go back to for the last, I guess, 20 years. I call the WWE slimy heel the Edge because Edge is the guy that started. He was a smaller built guy. Vince saw he was loyal, he was clever. Used the small. He used CM Punk in the same manner. He used so many talents that he tried to copy the Edge. Now I know Vince isn't there anymore. Okay, we know that, but it's that mentality of the smaller, slimy heel that's clever. Logan Paul is that modern. I don't like him, but he is that modern guy that pisses everybody off, and he's playing the character in Jeff style. They have plans for him, whether you like it or not. I don't watch him. I hate.
I don't believe it's him. I don't believe Logan Paul is that character. Now, I'll tell you who I do believe was originated before Edge. It was Jericho. Jericho, and after Jericho, it was Kurt Angle.
Yeah, but Angle's not that build. Angle's a legit American Olympian. There's a whole difference there. As soon as Paul Heyman got his hands on Angle, and he turned serious before he left the company to join TNA, we all went, "Holy shit, Angle sucks! Holy shit, Angle's the man!" Like he did pull a Taz on him. Like Angle's not a bitch. Angle was willing to be comical and play along with what Vince wanted. Vince was laughing, but Angle is not that Edge, steampunk, that smaller heel, Adam Cole, the smaller heel. Like I'm not built, but I'll cheat to win. Like Eddie Guerrero, he's not that kind of guy. Angle don't come across.
Logan Paul is that little weasel,
right?
But Logan Paul has a right hand.
Logan Paul looks, but he plays that character.
But he is really that in real life too. I mean, he's suing someone because someone criticized him.
He plays that character in the WWE. It doesn't matter about real life. To me, Logan Paul plays that character, and he's done it live. They had the grandma at WrestleMania telling Triple H she wanted to bang her. She's like, "Oh, I don't like you, Logan Paul." And Logan Paul was totally in character and bitched her. Like he's playing that. We all thought it would be Dominic being the little bitch. He's playing the I'm an asshole, and I think I'm better than everybody, but I'm not.
He's actually getting cheers more than boos lately. Because Dominic is getting over as a.
Oh, he's over as fuck. That was the plan. That's the whole plan. It's the whole reason Ray was like, "Please sign my son. I'll work with y'all. I'll leave New Japan." That's why he only worked the one match. He said, "Please sign my son. Make him a star." So Ray did the one New Japan match. They had him set up for 3 great legendary matches. Liger, fucking Marty Scurll, and your boy. And he walked away because he's like, "My son's job's more important." And I give him credit for looking out for his boy. But I think it would have been great for him to have that experience to go overseas and learn some of that wrestling before he went to. I'm jumping subjects. Anyway, Logan Paul is the current heel, slimy, skinny bitch ass. Bill. Yeah. He that's what he's playing in as far as WWE goes.
Okay. But anyway, Josh, continue on what you were saying.
I don't know. I lost track. Sorry, I think I was trying to get back to the situation with the
Del Rio, the spoiler.
Yeah, so the spoiler is like, I think that was wrong to release that. I think it was really wrong. It's like, because now you got people gonna be going to the event and be like, well he's winning. Let me go get a beer.
Okay,
it's a slap to our face, man. It's a slap to the fans' face. It's a slap to Alberto Del Rio's face. It's a slap to everybody's face that's involved in it. Even Vikingo is gonna be like, fuck.
Okay, you know? I want to go back to y'all on that, but I want to talk about this a little more. Josh, back to you about what you just said about it. Can you elaborate a little more? You're saying you don't like the fact that it was exposed, but they're claiming.
Don't get me wrong. As like I knew they were going to take the title off of.
No, wait.
It's like I knew that they were they're going to put it on Vikingo. I was like I already knew that it was like going to happen. But at the same time, is like jumping the gun. Advertising is like, the new champ of Viking. I'm like, wait a minute, you don't even got the title. What are you talking about? So that's like okay. Recently, okay, here let me give you a little example. I went to that MLW event. They did a taping, like it was a cage match and 2 other matches. Now they said it was going to be aired at a
later date.
Later on. I was like, shit, it's not going to come out till like next week. Actually, the taping that I went to that I seen is not going to air until next week. But at the same time, it's like once we went live on the regular stuff, then then we heard that the stuff that we heard was being taped and was going to be filmed later. It was like that. It was like who was it? Matt Riddle was a champion, and he was having a championship match that night, but he came out earlier with the title. So it's like we put two and two together. Like, well, that kind of just spoiled everything.
Okay, so to say in general, and the point I'm getting at is WWE or TKO is trying to say there's an excuse that they're doing it on purpose because they don't want the U.S. to really realize Del Rio is a champion to do anything we want in their companies. You're saying pretty much your opinion before we move on to anybody else. Your opinion is it's a shit idea. It spoils everything, everybody, and piss on everybody, right?
Yeah,
it's basically you're insulting the fans.
Okay,
yeah.
so
I mean, it's like don't get me wrong. It's like I expected him to lose. I knew that they're not going to bring him in to the TKO as a champion, as Triple H champion. I already knew that. I expected that that they're going to put the title on Vikingo, but to like pre-advertise it,
which they claim
to really spoil it.
They're claiming they're doing that to try to take the heat off of the fans. Which I'm going to ask the other guys as well. I just want to get you think it's complete bullshit?
I think it is bullshit.
Okay. Mike, would you like to jump in and then Phil on the subject?
Yeah. I'll elaborate on what Josh is saying. It's a slap to everybody's face, not just Del Rio's, not just Vikingo, not just the fans. It's everybody involved in this in it, dude. It's a slap to everybody's face. It's basically like saying, "Hey, we know he's a controversial person, and we know nobody really wants him to have a title in WWE. So what we're going to do is announce it, play okay, and then go, boom, hit him with a fucking okie doke. All right, cool. Now, if you go into business for yourself, we're fucking you up."
Well, that's why they have to sign to that contract to make sure if he fucks up, they owe him no money. That's why TKO signed him. Then they're like, "Fuck you." That's why I mentioned that.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like if he goes into business for himself and wants to take liberties with a Vikingo because of the situation that's already been announced.
Yep.
We own your ass.
The match,
we own you, motherfucker.
Match he has to perform this weekend. He fucks up. He violates his contract. Phil, would you like to add anything to this? I'm pretty sure you're going to be 3 for 3 right here.
He's eating, man. He ain't got nothing to say to us. He's
over eating. Let it slide down the throat. Let the meat slide down the throat.
I hope it tastes good.
Yeah, for real.
So let me tell you, it's a clusterfuck for everybody.
Yeah. Like
clusterfuck.
Yeah. Even for producers behind the scenes,
but like shot themselves in the foot by spoiling it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're and I'm not even going to elaborate on it. I've said what I had to say. I think all four of us agree on this subject. It's a bad move. No matter what Del Rio's good or bad, it's fucking over a talent. But we're more like, why are you fucking over the fans with this kind of result? So
you insulted the fans. You insulted the wrestlers.
I think
you basically exposed the business. What the fuck?
I think all four of us agree on that, and we're like, it's a bad move to announce this, even though it's not your company yet. And you're doing this. It's a bad move. Okay, moving on. Another brand new subject I want to get on. Important: the unhappiness of TNA with what's going on with the directive now.
But before you go any further with that, right there, Jordan. I want to elaborate. I'm not going to elaborate, but I want to. Okay. I'm not going to rant. But I am going to say this.
Okay.
The TNA unhappiness, the TNA morale. TNA is shopping. We already know TNA is shopping for a network, but they already have their own network. They own Access Television.
They're moving.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, you're letting people go because they were loyal to Scott D'Amore.
Yes.
And people backstage, Josh Matthews, Gail Kim, another big one recently, Cody Deaner.
Yes.
Who else was released because of this bullshit?
And more creative people behind the scenes as well. have been released. The WWE takeover that we all know is invisible right now, but it's happening.
Now, I have a question before you talk about the unhappiness. Do you believe Tommy Dreamer is going to be part of this cutting?
He has been loyal enough to WWE in the back wings, and he doesn't want to be a front man, that if he shuts up, does his job, he's staying.
Yeah. What they do, they'll keep Tommy Dreamer.
Tommy Dreamer.
Put him under a Legends contract. But like, hey, here we'll put you on a Legends contract. Here's some action figures. Here's a Funko Pop figure of you. We'll sign you to tour dates. We'll make you a producer backstage of NXT or some shit.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Tommy Dreamer has been the ball player behind the scenes for WWE. Like they will keep. He has pulled the Eric Bischoff, the Paul Heyman. WWE is king. Tommy Dreamer is on that boat now. He is on. He is not. He is Tommy Dreamer, and Tommy's like, this is our future. Preserves that little bit of heritage we got. WWE's just like Joey Styles. He's still behind the scenes media. He still is.
Joey Styles is still with WWE?
100%.
He went to do before the big Me Too and the stupid modern culture. He went to, before Jim Cornette got blasted for telling one of his own old jokes, Joey Styles was hired for a random PC, some kind of show, nothing to do with WWE. He did commentary. People tried to say he was being rated, whatever. He said, you know what? Fuck all of y'all. I'll never do commentary again. Y'all want to be a bunch of bitches? I quit. And he's part of the non-mentioned WWE media team. He's one of the big computer people.
Oh, yeah, really? he's one of the graphic people now. Like the 3D design shit that you see on television, that's part of Joey Styles' shit.
Wow. Well, shit. Now we know who's all behind the scenes and doing the graphics for ECW now. So was it just Paul Heyman in the basement?
No, it was Joey Styles, man. I mean, Joey. The reason why ECW was so famous is because of Joey Styles' commentary. And everybody says, "Oh man, because of the matches and it was overbooking and false finishes and all that." No, man. Without Joey Styles on commentary.
Yeah, but what false finishes did ECW ever do? Who they ever lost? It was this guy got beat, the next guy's come and pin him. What false finish?
Actually, no. They never really they really never did pull anything like that.
No.
They made you kick out of finishers. That's why Justin Credible had 3 different finishers. That's why Steve Corino had 4.
Yeah, but 1,000 by the time they had all that.
But I think it
was in 96, 97, dude.
No,
that's when Corino started that.
Corino wasn't in the company in 97 yet.
No, but whenever Corino came in, he started doing all his King of Old School gimmick. And that's whenever he became champion. He was one of the last champions.
Mm-hmm. But
the last champion was Rhino.
Until the match,
the producer backstage for WWE.
Rhino is the biggest champion in the company. He was hiding behind Jack Victory. I'll never forget that promo with Taz when they had he tried to team with Tajiri, and Steve Corino's like, they were like, I remember Joey Styles, 23-year-old coward. Steve Corino's coming to the ring to talk some shit. Never gonna do a damn thing in his life. I'll never forget that. Taz talk about, yeah, why you choking on Jack Victory's limp dick on the mic. I'll never forget that.
Dude, that was some great shit though, man. I mean, ECW was famous for 3 things: blood, no rules, and commentary.
Yes.
I'm gonna give ECW 3 points on shock value, hardcore, and just saying whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter if you was the best wrestler in the company or the weakest announcer. You said what the fuck you wanted to say.
There was really no weak announcer in ECW.
No, I don't mean that. From the strongest competitor, like a Hulk Hogan to a Mean Gene, from a Taz to a
Joe Gertner. To a Gertner.
No, everyone was allowed to say and be whoever the fuck they wanted to be. That's why I credit ECW. Joey Styles knocked out JBL in one punch real life because he tried bullying him. He was sitting down, and JBL went up to him and was like, "Yeah, da, 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 da." Joey Styles was like, and he
took the headset off before he clocked him though.
He knocked JBL out in one punch. You a young skinny announcer, and you Brad, the tough guy, out one hit.
Well, and also at that time, JBL was also a bully. He bullied Blue Meanie. He bullied Nova. He bullied Stevie Richards.
He bullied them
until he got his ass knocked out by Bart Gunn.
Steve Blackman.
Yeah, but before the Bart Gunn, before the brawl for all, they thought Bradshaw was so badass. Vince was sitting him on after everybody with Farouk. Dude, Joey Styles laid you out, bro. Joey Styles, 160 pounds if you're lucky. Before he got older, Joey Styles laid you out with one punch. Mr.
Horse and the rest.
Mr. 6 foot, whatever he is, JBL. Dude, that don't bode well for you. If it had been Bill Watts in Mid-South, he'd been fired day one. You lose a fight in the ballroom, don't come wrestle for me tomorrow. Tough.
Everybody remembers Danzig getting knocked out by that little weakling kid.
That was set up, though, too. That was set up.
No, weakling. That was a big-ass dude.
It was a one-punch hitter, man.
The short, fat dude, but it was also set up. All the cameras and all that, that's pre-YouTube. That was all set up to where they pushed him, and they had it. The Northside Kings is the gang, but they had it all set up to try to build him. It was all a big setup. Yes, Danzig pushed him first. Danzig put hands on him first. Danzig asked for it. Don't get me wrong. I love Danzig. You put your hands on a man, you better be able to fight. But they pushed him, and they set it up, and they knocked him out. Okay? If you put your hands on somebody, you got to be able to handle your own. I don't care.
Jericho said though, man. Jericho said you talk all this talk and then get knocked out with one punch.
Mm-hmm. Jericho said that to JBL?
No, he said that about Danzig. He also said that about JBL too, about Bart Gunn's situation too, because
Joey Styles knocking out JBL in real life in one.
Well, the whole thing, man, the whole brawl for all was supposed to be set up not for JBL. It was supposed to be set up for
Dr. Death.
Yeah, Steve Williams.
Because JR was that was his boy. JR was all excited. Dr. Death. Dr. Death was already past it. That was the one step away from hiring Vader in those days. None against Vader. When you can't go, you can't go. You got to back up. Bart Gunn just came in there and tore it up. I mean, Godfather was a legit badass, and he lost. Godfather was predicted to be a winner.
But Steve Blackman, I would have put money on Steve Blackman, but he had to back out because he realized that this is real, and he was a legit badass.
Yeah, he's a black belt, dude. He's a black belt in 2 different fucking versions of martial arts.
I mean, he beat the shit out of Bradshaw in an airport for trying to mess with him. He basically North kicked his ass.
Yeah,
he backed out because he could have cleared out everybody.
That's actually what you call wrote about it in his book, Bob Holly. That's not exactly how it went, but Steve Blackman was not in the company for the brawl and all yet. He was not.
Yeah, he was.
It was y'all are thinking of and your boy got in and he quit after 2 rounds. The original MMA fighter, the legit dude, Dan Severn, went there and quit. He went in and he said, "Dude, I'm not getting hurt for nothing. I'm backing out." He canceled.
No, I could have sworn it was Steve Blackman.
No, it was Dan to be Severn because Ken Shamrock wouldn't do it either.
Steve Blackman would have won the whole fucking. JBL had to go cry like a little bitch and apologize to Steve Black after he realized he thought he was talking shit, and they're like, "Dude, Shamrock's telling you apart. You don't know who you fucking with right there with Blackman." He's like, "Dude, I'm sorry. Bradshaw." He was like, "No." He's like, "I'll kill you, motherfucker." Bradshaw was pissed, but no, it was Dan Severn in the brawl for all. He did one or two.
Yeah, Blackman was in the brawl for all. Yeah, Blackman was in the brawl for all.
See, thank you.
He was.
He won the first round. Yeah, he won the first round.
Who not?
It was Blackman, and Blackman bowed out, dude.
Oh, okay.
He won the first round and bowed out. They said it was an injury-related thing.
So but in actuality, he bowed out because he already knew I can murder everybody in this fucking competition.
And it was set up for yeah, he kept taking down Mark Merrow. Because Mark Merrow couldn't even get a hand on him.
Yeah. So Steve Blackman just joined the company because that was 97.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Vince Russo because Vince Russo hated JBL, dude, because JBL was bullying Vince Russo.
His whole plan is JBL to get waxed. That was his whole plan.
And he got knocked out by Bart Gunn, dude. And dude, when that shit happened,
I was really pissed off about it was Jim Cornette and I think JR was a little pissed about it too, especially what happened to Dr. Death and everything.
Yeah, and the whole thing, Vince Russo said, I watch that shit religiously. He said, I watch that shit on repeat sometimes.
But at what cost, though? You know, it really...
Cornette said the same thing. Cornette said the same thing. He said, me and Vince Russo would never see eye to eye on anything. He said, but we do see eye on eye on one thing. The Brawl for All was a failure, but it did put people in their place. It needed to happen.
But also, if I'm not mistaken, that ended Dr. Death's career.
Yeah. Cornette says it should have never happened.
It should have never happened.
It made Dr. Death look weak.
It didn't make him look weak, man.
No,
it did.
That's the thing. It did make him look weak because he got knocked out, and they had him slated for him to go.
He was in his 40s.
The whole plan was for Dr. Death to be built up to be a fodder for Stone Cold to build him up. That was the whole plan by JR to management. And Dr. Death was already had some age on him, but that tournament finished him off. He went to WCW after that and did nothing. He was just like the same as Ahmed Johnson. But they thought Ahmed Johnson was going to be so great. He went to WCW, couldn't even...
Goofy boy!
Big T.
Yeah.
And I barely even recognized him when he came in as Big T.
Wait, he was out of health. And that's why they cut him in WWF. But, hey, in the same breath, Vince made the same fuck-ups. He hired Mark Merrow. You're not hiring Mark Merrow. Dusty Rhodes said it the best. You didn't buy Mark Merrow.
You bought Sable.
You bought Little Richard. His gimmick of that. You bought the bad man, Mark Merrow. And Dusty Rhodes said, he says, you don't know what to do with him because his gimmick was who he was over here. You bought the man, but you don't know how to work him without the gimmick. Dusty Rhodes always said that. And he said, and all he did was take it pretty much. What he got out the deal was he got his wife stolen from him out the whole deal. You know? Sable had these grand delusions after they made her something and they fired him that she was going to be some big star in Hollywood. That was her whole goal before The Rock and Cena. She ends up, that don't work. They try to put her in the lesbian angle. She tried to sue. He still got his lesbian angle out of it. She comes back. Then he goes with Brock. And Mark Merrow said, he was like, let me find out who it is. I'll kick his ass. Brock Lesnar. Oh, shit. I give up. Take my wife. He's like, I can't beat that dude. Like, he said it straight up. He said it. He said it.
Yeah, because Mark Merrow still has beef with Brock Lesnar, but like he said though, ain't nothing he
can do about it. But we're getting way off the topic of TNA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
okay.
yeah. We'll go back on
that. I know we kind of went on a ramble, but
well, look at the clock. We live 1:43:24. We normally go 2 hours and something. I figured this was the ranting part, but yeah, back to the main subject we all were on was TNA's not happy. I mean, they want a backstage guy wanted Miz. WWE wanted Miz to beat Joe Hendry for the title, and a certain backstage higher up was like, we don't want that. He's fired now this week, and they put it on the NXT guy. I can't think of his name, but if you look it up, you'll see it. That's yet another one gone. They have to TNA has to go through WWE for slaps and super kicks now. The blood and guts are thrown back while they're looking for a TV deal.
But I thought that stuff ended with when Vince left because that was a Vince McMahon rule.
No, WWE still
but they still do it. They still do the slaps.
When they're allowed and Triple H and friends and TKO and Nick Khan decide it's okay. That's the deal. I told Phil this on a group message, and I'm gonna tell both of y'all this. TNA is going to be used as a weapon against AEW. That's why they're PG in it. They're shopping it to bigger networks to get it on more than just the US. They're gonna. Why should I fight my own battle when I could send a little small army to hurt my opponent for me when I don't have to spend $1 and I can throw money? TNA is going to be used as a weapon against AEW to try to fight for the number one spot in the US to hurt them while WWE just going and making.
I don't think that. Like right now, you get everybody jumping ship. You got everybody leaving. Right now, like Mike said earlier, their roster is shit. The roster is shit. I mean, by the time they're ready to sell, all that's going to be available is the library. That's it.
You're gonna.
I know me and Mike a while back. We went through the roster. The complete roster list is like if WWE right now was to buy TNA at that like we went was like about 5 months ago, 6 months ago.
Yeah, like right now I'm looking at their roster right now, man.
And we went through the entire list. There's like who would WWE take or who would they fire, and it's like we predicted I think maybe 10 or 15 guys. That's it. And right now I think what. How many's on the roster right now?
Ace Austin just recently left TNA last week.
Who?
Ace Austin.
Getting.
Yeah, Ace Austin's gone.
Same thing as AAA. Don't matter who stays or who goes. I own your name. I'm gonna put
it does and it doesn't, man. Ace Austin made his he cut his teeth in TNA. But he grew up in CZW and part of their that's where he was trained was by CZW. And he cut his teeth in TNA. Because this is what TNA had a working agreement back in the day with CZW. Whenever their guys were getting big enough, TNA would go and put them on their television and see if they were big enough to be on their stars, and then try to give them deals.
He was a former X Division champion too.
Well, like I said, it worked out for Callahan. It worked out for the Rascals. They came from Combat Zone.
Not so much Callahan still with TNA.
Well, he is. And listen, this is crazy. Madman Fulton's gone. He was part of the CZW thing.
PCO's gone.
Well,
he's been long gone.
Yeah, he's been gone.
Yeah, but here's the problem. Here's the price. The same thing like AAA. No matter who you got or what you got left, WWE's going to send their B and C out in NXT to become that and take over your part of the world. This is part of the global takeover. That's their whole idea. They got the US, they want Canada, they want Mexico. NXT UK is coming back. Australia is coming. They're trying for India. They don't care. They might have a couple local talents, whoever wants to work. If they got to phase them out, they don't care. They'll put it's going to be just like ECW 2006 when you had Randy on ECW and people that don't belong. Now, we didn't like that because we old school. You send this to people overseas that don't know other companies, but you're getting this in. It's a global takeover, and this is all because Tony Khan declared war. If he wouldn't have done this, this wouldn't happen. Right now, it's building into a bunch of companies here and a bunch of just like the Mexico show, WWE, TNA, AAA, NXT.
And Noah.
Same month. AEW, New Japan, Rev Pro, if you want to claim our reach, even though it don't exist, the CMLL. That's all going to fall apart, and they're all going to die one by one until WWE controls all except a 25, 50-man bingo hall kids local event. That's and I hate it. I hate it. If Tony Khan would have never got in the damn business, and he'd have been a sponsor or put money in, and let New Japan do what they had to do here. No dumb shit. Let them fucking wrestle and could have smoked in the Vince days and had everybody. We would not be talking about this. Wrestling would be taken seriously on one side. the stupidity, the ignorance. I'm like, just because you got money don't mean you know how to run shit. And
Well,
half of this is
all right. So we have 4 people with us right now. Us 4, right? Now, this is the roster of TNA right now. Now, quote me if I'm wrong on this, but a lot of these people were hired by WWE originally, and now they're in TNA and they all hold titles. And they got rid of the Digital Media Championship and they relabeled it as the International Championship, which is kind of like a slap to AEW. Now, this is where I'm saying here is the actual roster: Ace Steel, AJ Francis, Alicia Edwards, Ash by Elegance, Brian Myers, Chris Bay, Danny Luna, Eddie Edwards, Elijah, Eric Young, Frankie Kazarian, Gia Miller, Harley Hudson, Heather by Elegance, Indy Hartwell, Jake Something, Jason Hotch, Jeff Hardy, JDC, Jody Threat, Joe Henry, John Schuyler, Casey Navarro, Judas Icarus, Killer Kelly, Killing King, or Kylan King, I'm sorry, Laredo, Lee Ying Lee, Leon Slater, Maggie Lee, Mance Warner, Masha Slamovich, Matt Cardona, Matt Hardy, Matthew Raywolf, Mackenzie Mitchell, Mike Santana, Moose, Mustafa Ali, Mila Grace, Nick Namath, Octagon Jr., Rosemary, Ryan Nemeth, Sammy Callahan, Santina Morella, Steph DeLander, Steve Macklin, Tessa Blanchard, Tasha Steeles, the personal concierge, Tom Hannafin, Tommy Dreamer, Travis Williams, Trey Miguel, Victoria Crawford, a.k.a. Alicia Fox, Zaya Brookside, and Zachary Wentz.
trash. Absolute trash.
Now, all these people I named, every single one of them, AJ Francis will not be with it going forward if WWE bought this company. Alicia Edwards will not be going forward if WWE bought this company. Let me rephrase that. If TKO bought this company, AJ Francis, Alicia Edwards, Brian Myers, Chris Bay, Danny Luna, Eddie Edwards, Elijah, Eric Young, Kazarian, Harley Hudson, Heather by Elegance, Indy Hartwell, Jeff Hardy, JDC, Jody Threat, John Schuyler, Casey Navarro, all will be gone. That's just naming a few people.
The Hardy Boys might get legendary.
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it.
No, they were just featured on NXT not too long ago. So I would see that.
They'll get legends, but the rest of those people, there's no difference than MLW, which has all of WWE's 2000s wrestlers that couldn't make it, from Chris Masters on down. There's no difference.
Oh, Chris Masters is trash. That dude's a horrible human being. Fuck that guy.
Who?
Chris Masters is a horrible human.
Oh, you got something I don't know? Tell me.
All right. So, whenever I was working for DCW, Diamond Championship Wrestling, back 3 years ago, early 2000, right during when COVID hit big. I didn't get a chance to go to the show that he was on because I had COVID for the third time. Well, I heard from several people that worked there, including the owner of the time. He came to me and said, "Yeah, man, I paid him $700," and I told him that he was going to put our guy over, and he was like, "Nah, that ain't going to work for me.
Sure.
You got to pay me more money, and we're going to do it my way."
700 ain't nothing. You better shut up and do what you told.
So
basically, in other words,
he took him for more money,
winning the business for himself.
Yeah, and he got more money out of it, and on top of that, he got his way
for $700. I told him to go fuck himself, and I ain't giving you a penny more if you only worth $700. That's pretty sad. I'd have been. I thought back in the. I saw him recently. He's a shell of himself. He's nowhere near as big as he was. But that battle roll I saw in him.
Chris Adonis.
That Chris Masters.
Chris Adonis. That's what he goes by now.
Yeah, that battle roll, which had New Japan talent, all the guys, all of that. The majority of the roster was all rejects from WWE 2000s. I think Jinder Mahal was in the fucking thing and got tossed out. I could be wrong. But it was like 2000s guys that couldn't make it. And I was like, bro, like, that's kind of shitty. I'm like, this is what you have. Like,
They even they
But
even
like,
had what's her name from there, like Melina. It was the escort. Was the
Eminem?
valet for Eminem.
Yeah, Melina.
but
Yeah.
but it's like I said, it's like TNA's gonna fold. TNA's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
fold, and
Yeah.
and it's like and once they do sell, there's gonna be maybe 15 guys they'll take.
I don't think so. I said 10 before all this. Now, I think less than 10. Dude, they kept what 8 from AAA. I don't think TNA. They're gonna have the library, but they're gonna rebrand TNA and either
Like I could see the Hardys coming for a Legends contract.
Yeah.
I see Tommy Dreamer coming for a Legends contract.
maybe Moose, maybe.
Moose definitely. They'll take Moose because
Yeah.
he's a big guy.
Well, I got a question. How old is Moose now?
Googling it as we speak.
But who else? Maybe Rosemary's a good choice. They'll take Rosemary. Who else?
Tessa Blanchard. They're gonna take because they need somebody to feed
Moose
Charlotte.
is 41 years old.
Yeah.
How? 31?
41.
Oh damn. Okay. Well, they might use him to feed people like they do in Jonah or somebody like a bigger guy. He's not gonna make it. Now they could take Tessa Blanchard to feed her to like
Tessa Blanchard. I could see if God.
Controversial, man.
Well, it's like it's that stigma that's sticking with Tessa Blanchard. I don't know.
Yeah, but WWE don't, dude. TKO, Nick Khan, they don't care what your political views or your moral views. If you,
okay, do with that.
they don't give a shit, bro.
It ain't about her political views. It's what she did backstage.
The other thing is a lot. I had
racial.
There's a theories of me and Jordan had. We had a theory that if you get Tessa and Charlotte Flair against each other,
yeah,
we don't know.
Make
there's a chance
look like
end up bad. Because Charlotte, she likes to sandbag other women.
They're gonna hire.
She just sandbagged fucking Julia.
Yeah, dude, she no-selled. She no-selled to Julia, dude. She no-selled Julia.
Julia ain't big, but Julia is awesome. And me and Phil both have watched Julia for years.
We've seen Julia in action.
Yeah,
she's one of the best.
Yeah,
for Charlotte to do that to her is a fucking insult.
Y'all get Tony Storm now. We saw Tony Storm 10 years ago in Stardom, moving. No gimmick, just busting ass. A lot of the great women's wrestlers, all of that. Like, they get Tessa Blanchard. They're gonna use her to create a couple stars or put people over and put her down, just like they did. And they're gonna take Joe Hendry. His contract ends at the end of the year. It's a done deal. WWE's pretty much getting Joe Hendry in 2026. That's the one guy they want off the whole.
Yeah, dude, he's so viral, dude. Yeah. Joe Hendry is so viral.
Yeah, they'll crush.
WWE events, man. There are people with signs. I came to see Joe Hendry. I came here for Joe Hendry.
Yeah, they're gonna take him. Now the TNA name, you could take that and put whoever you want under there. If you show that to modern people in India that didn't watch TNA back in the day, 15 years ago, they don't know what TNA was back then unless they watched. WWE is gonna form AAA and TNA, and if they have to, they'll turn them into NXTs, which is Triple H's long-time goal.
I think what it is they're going to turn it into like NXT TNA.
That's what he wants. He
wants NXT Canada.
Triple H let it be known years ago. He wants NXT in every part of the globe and to make a World Football League out of NXT. He wants like a World Championship where there's NXT Europe, NXT India, NXT Australia, NXT South America, NXT North America, NXT Canada. His whole plan, that's his whole plan. Is he wants an NXT in every corner of the globe and to make them all compete and then take the best of the best to put on Raw, SmackDown type shit and main event. But he wants a world league like football, like soccer football. He said that years ago. That's what he wants. And he's got the power to do it. They realized they could crush all the competition. I'm telling y'all, in the next 10 years, Yeah, the Indies are going to be the 25 people in a school gym. That's what they're going for. ROH got bought. NWA is nothing.
NWA's on the NWA now is on the cell block.
Yeah,
They're on life support.
they're nothing. Billy Corgan one day is going to sell that library. TNA is getting ready to give up. ROH got bought out. Fucking CCW, which is in line with GCW. Triple H already has claws in GCW, even though Tony Khan and all them tried. He's already.
Yeah, GCW used to book a lot of AEW talent. I mean, their biggest attraction was Megan Bain. They had Megan Bain doing shows, had booked for shows, and all of a sudden, canceled all her appearances.
That means WWE, when you got to cancel your merchandise and appearances, there's only one company, because TNA would tell you, we can't pay you, go ahead and book indies. The others would say, go ahead and do it if you're not contracted. There's only one company that makes you do that, WWE. Mm-hmm. You cancel your personal life and move to their schedule. That the whole point is WWE global dominance, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Y'all thought it was bad when WCW and ECW got bought. Y'all watch after this shit with Tony Khan stealing from New Japan, and there's no real competition. I don't give it 10 years. I don't. WWE's gonna pretty much monopolize it all for one. That's gonna be it. Unless you go watch a Wildcat, something, that's gonna be it. There's not gonna be nothing left. The let's fucking go and the whole WWE will let you put your tile on your show. That's them sending feelers out for talent. Take people in companies that they think are good enough. That's people going and feel out and without contracting. That's what that is. I'm telling you, it's coming. Then got the power of TKO now. Tony Khan's an idiot and he's not booking shit right when all he would have to do is hire real professional wrestling writers, not no Hollywood writers, people that care about the business, that are still alive, like a Paul Heyman type character.
Well, he is working with Jerry Lynn behind the scenes. He's producing a lot of the matches.
Jerry Lynn can't fight the world. You need more than Jerry Lynn and Dean Malenko, brother. You need more.
Yeah, you need somebody. The thing is that the AEW needs a guy like Paul Heyman. But the problem is, I don't think there's nobody out there.
TNA had him. They were ready to hire Paul Heyman as the new creative head writer. I forget what year it was. That's when they brought him back and put him with Brock. Vince and them knew. They knew he would be a pain in the ass. They knew he would stop him. And that's when they hired him. Because Brock came back by himself in 11 or 12. Remember that. Paul Heyman was getting ready to come on board on TNA. He was all signed up. And I will tell y'all something. Y'all can believe me this. Y'all can call me what you want. I promise you, when Vince got so pissed off that he could not get Reigns over, I promise you, he looked at Paul. He called Paul in the office and said, don't you dare tell a soul. I will pay you and get you if you get Reigns over and build this. The whole Samoan dynasty, all that, you could thank Paul Heyman's brilliance and being that was Vince told Paul, I give up. Paul, show me what you got it, boss. You got it. Yes, you got it. And I promise you.
You want to make me some money? Money, Paul?
I would say AEW needed to get Scott D'Amore after he got released. That probably would have helped AEW out so much.
They should have at least tried to invest. I would have, if it had been.
Well, I think Scott D'Amore wants to be in Canada, because from what I've seen,
I would have invested in him.
Yeah.
Well, I heard he is. At least he's working with MLP, though. I give him that.
I would trust a Scott D'Amore who's not on the WWE team. For me, that has a wrestling mind. He might not be Kevin Sullivan. He might not be Dusty Rhodes.
But Scott D'Amore has experience in the business.
Especially if he's against WWE, he's gonna fight for you better. I would have gave him a shot. I'd give him a 6-month run at least.
Yeah.
Well, what we're talking about here, every MLP show has Don Callis there too. As one of the commentators. Don Callis was there for the first 3.
You'll have to give me a minute. I lost y'all, and I don't know why this volume shit does it, but it drops to nothing, and then y'all build back up. I heard Don Callis. Y'all go ahead, talk.
Yeah, Don Callis was part of the original
Maple Leaf Wrestling
commentary. Yeah, from Maple Leaf Wrestling.
But yeah, it's like AEW should invested some money and try to get Scott D'Amore. That would have been the major player. I guarantee if they would have brought him on board, it would have fucking did more for the company. Like right now, AEW just did a hell of a pay-per-view. Hell of a pay-per-view this weekend. Dynamite tonight. Obviously, they're building up everything for All In. They're starting to build up for All In right now.
And
so,
plus here's another thing. I'm sorry, Josh.
Yeah, it's like they're starting to build up for All In. So it was an all right Dynamite tonight, which you're gonna have that. They're finally starting to tell story. They're finally starting to get to the story aspect. But
dude, even Will Ospreay says we're back on track, or people starting to like AEW again because of Hangman.
Yeah,
because I think this is a good idea. Here's the thing, though. I've heard behind the scenes it was Will Ospreay that pushed towards Hangman to win the tournament, and
Hold
it was
time out right there, Phil. I'm not trying to interrupt you, I promise. But listen, it was Tony Khan who had no idea. He said Will Ospreay went in there and asked Tony Khan to let Hangman go over. Hangman went to Tony Khan and wanted Will Ospreay to go over. John Moxley went in and said he wanted Hangman to go over, and I think that was the final decision for Hangman to go over.
I think it was it was a big. Zack Sabre Jr. is awesome, by the way. Country.
CSJ rules. I heard that, but I'm still getting my volume back, guys. But y'all keep going.
I was at the first Forbidden Door. So,
but anyways, what I was trying to say was like, I think it was a surprise move, but I think it's a good move to help get Hangman some of the balance he lost like 3 years ago, some of the momentum he lost 3 years ago, and
thanks to Tony.
He gets to finish the story that he lost from unfortunate events I will not be talking about because we'll be moving on from that.
Phil, were you? I know I got you in New Japan at some point, but were you still were you watching when Cody was playing like I'm a nice guy, but I'm an asshole and I'm gonna dick over Omega?
I saw clips of it and everything because I knew because Cody was roughing some shit up in the Indies by the time he left out in 2016 and 2017. I just had a feeling. I just didn't know where to watch New Japan at that time because I know about New Japan World and everything.
Right.
But what really made me when I was watching I ended up watching information about the Kenny Omega and the Chris Jericho.
Oh, that was the big. That's what made Tony Khan start AEW. He saw that and was like, that's the match that made him say, I'm going to take everybody and make my own company. But what I'm asking you is, did you watch when Cody was the absolute slimy bastard heel, but he pulled a Lex Luger and Sting from the 90s. And he took Hangman, they were all Bullet Club. Hangman, he made turn into a dick, and that made Hangman so fucking over. The Japanese
and grabbing people's dick, if I remember right.
Oh, dude, Hangman! I liked it when Hangman turned heel in AEW. I saw a little bits of that.
Oh, it was nothing. It sucked compared to what New Japan had him right when they brought him in AEW. The first pay-per-view, they were like, "He's the new conquering all face," and he lost to Jericho. It's like, what are y'all doing? You were there, Tony Khan. You watched the match. That's not who Hangman is. You should have had Hangman come in like Reigns as a heel, then turn face. I'm like, how do you blow this shit? Hangman 5 years ago should have been a top 3 man in wrestling. They fucked.
I I was there for All Out. I was there for the All Out for the first All Out, and it's like I was expecting Hangman to win. I didn't think they were going to put the belt on Jericho.
That was All In you talking about, right?
No,
All Out
All In was the
2019.
first pay-per-view. Was the first, with the Bucks and all that.
Yeah.
When it became AEW, they didn't have the rights to All In, so they called it All Out.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I bought the first shoe. Yeah, that one. I thought, why
was
not
there
go
for
with the new guy? I understand why they went with Jericho. You go with an established name, but why they made Hangman the heel or the face and Jericho the heel made no sense, because in New Japan, Hangman was a terrific heel. He was, and they were cheering him. He was good. Put Omega through a table. Cody and Omega are stuck through tables bleeding naturally because of the hard tables, just cut from their skin, bleeding, hanging in a table that didn't break, would have their body hanging through like a toilet.
Well, if you remember correctly, though, Jordan, Ring of Honor had Bullet Club members there, and most of the Bullet Club members were cheered at Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
And they were heels in Japan, but cheered in America.
They were cheering. Hangman was cheering in Japan as a heel.
My point is this. I mean, you bring him to America, he's going to be cheered. I mean, he came up with his own fucking gimmick, cowboy shit. Right. And they chant that shit today.
Right. Well, we didn't have cowboy shit back then. We had Dirty Dastardly Hangman that was willing to stab Omega in the back and take blonde hair Cody's back, and it just made. And they were talking on the mic. It put WWE storytelling to shame. It was so good. Then they would all claim Bullet Club was fine. Then you thought Cody and Omega were going to go at it. The Tongans fucking jumped them all, and Cody and Omega joined teams. And they were like, okay, fuck GOD. We're going to fuck them over. Like Tama Tonga Loa. Like, that was a big deal. The original Bullet Club members before any of them, Tama Tonga. And then all the shit went wrong, and everything the firing squad went down. Everything got fucked up. The talent started getting stolen and all that. And we're like, man, we just got deprived of good TV.
It was AJ, the Good Brothers were the first three, and Shinsuke Nakamura were the first four to go.
Huh?
I mean, for talent being stolen, like big name talent.
Oh yeah, they were that was
the first four.
We made a purchase there, but in reality, the only one. Shinsuke was good in NXT. Don't get me wrong. Vince didn't care, and the Good Brothers. He got one winner out of that, AJ. And then when Vince realized AJ was like a Sting type guy, and he was willing to play ball, he says, "Oh, if I'd have known, pal, I signed him 10 years ago from TNA." Like, yeah, you're bad. But
also, AJ wasn't going to sign with anybody but keep with TNA because he was loyal. But Dixie fucked him over and didn't want to pay him the money he was owed.
The sad thing is Vince would have took him, like where you saw RVD fighting Edge and Cena. Vince would have had AJ in that spot. If he said, if I'd have known he was the Sting kind of guy, like I'm for the company, I'm not a dick. I'm willing. He was like, I'd have signed him 10 years ago. I'm like, idiot. We've been telling you for years. AJ's fucking great. But
AJ wasn't that guy though, man. AJ back then would have never signed with WWE. He had a chance to, and he turned it down.
Well, the reason why he turned it down is because his wife was in college and everything, and he wanted to see his wife a lot more, and TNA had a lighter schedule than WWE does.
He's griped for years that he wanted to retire from WWE because his boys were playing baseball and he can't attend the games, and he's like, This is the last year. Thinking to myself, you're staying because you're willing to take the hit because that way you're going to give all the money. The dude loves his family. He's a good man, okay? AJ is a better man than me and a lot of people, okay? He's a good dude. He's just a good dude. He loves his wife. He loves his kids. He ain't running around wild.
He also loves his video games.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is he's been supposed to quit WWE for years. He's like, I'm missing my kids' lives. He's taking that money to give to them. He's like, hey, he's like, y'all gonna be set. That's what he's doing. Dude's a selfless son of a bitch. He's a selfless guy, and I consider him a worthy motherfucker, bro. The dude's one hell of a stand-up guy. AJ Styles is a good man.
Windy.
Yeah, and I like AJ, man, and Samoa Joe too. Samoa Joe's another stand-up guy.
Joe, you're right. Joe is a good dude.
Joe is a great guy. I love what he's doing. What he tried to put Hook over too.
Dude, Joe had a lot of issues whenever he was young with drugs. Everybody knows him. Everybody knew about him. But as he matured and he's gotten older, dude, it's gotten a lot better, and you can see the maturity in him. And as a human being, he's now a father, and he's turned that whole role into being something other than just
positive.
You know who was a really big mentor to him in TNA? It was Taz.
And Kevin Nash.
I know about Nash now.
Mike?
I don't know about Nash, but Samoa Joe actually went off on him. But
now he went off on Scott Hall.
Yeah,
in front of Kevin Nash.
Yeah, but then they claimed the slap and all. There was a lot of drama there, but it ain't my business.
Taz was a big mentor to Samoa Joe, if I'm correct.
Yeah, he was.
And that's why he did try to do for Hook.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Taz is a big mentor for a lot of people, and people don't realize it.
I think he's a great locker room leader, in my opinion.
I'm gonna call it what it is. A lot of people don't get Taz. A lot of people don't like Taz. Taz don't like a majority of the world, but you know what? If you got Taz's favor, you consider yourself a lucky son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I loved it when he was doing the Master P. Let me say,
not Taz.
Yeah, he was doing that.
Yeah.
When Master P was in New Orleans. When he was in New Orleans,
if it had been ECW, Taz, he'd have said, "Fuck you, and I'm gonna suplex you 13 different ways, you son of a bitch."
Yeah. But Taz has even said, he's officially retired from wrestling. But if someone ever got in his face and that one person,
no, Samoa Joe said, "Let me say,
Yeah, Joe did that, but Taz said though he has one left in him, but it has to be the right person.
You'll be very careful.
Remember one time he said he would.
It probably would have been Sabu, but I don't think that's going to happen now.
He said he wanted to be in a triple threat match with Minoru Suzuki and Taz.
Oh, Joe did?
So Samoa Joe said that.
Yeah.
I think he's a little. I don't know if he knows what he's in for there.
Yeah,
Taz likes punishment. What can I say? He's a tough SOB.
Yeah, Taz hit red belt for that. Before that,
I'll tell you one thing: if Taz is saying he's got one more in him for one person, it ain't unless he does a regular traditional grappler with his son, and he's too old now. If he's telling you that means he's willing to put over a brand new star that he's gonna see come out of nowhere and be like, this guy deserves the business, not somebody hanging around. It's gonna be a special, rare case, like a junior RVD coming on. It's not gonna be somebody we thinking of or we know. It's gonna be somebody that has to elevate themselves. If Taz said that he'd be willing to get in a ring with one person that's not his son and put him over, it'd have to be not some attraction, not some one time, a lifer that could like change the business. That's what he means.
Like Jericho did for Action Andretti.
Oh, I can't even tell you what an Action Andretti looks like. So there you go.
Oh, what do you guys think of you guys who watched Dynamite tonight? What do you guys think of Thekla attacking Jamie Hayter?
Well, I'll be last. I didn't know who she was, so all I know is she's from Stardom. That's pretty much.
She was another top free agent that WWE and AEW wanted. And
six companies were fighting for her before she signed with AEW. 6 companies and leaving Stardom. That's how big she is.
Well, this is what I was told about the whole Mina Shirakawa thing. WWE didn't want her.
They didn't want me
because of her age.
They were fighting hard for her and battling for money. They were one of the top 3. I remember the week she went up, they were like, WWE is highly interested and AEW is trying to combat. But they were like, she'll probably choose her friends in AEW. But WWE was willing to throw up money to keep, like, that was a big deal. That was on the European wrestling news.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is.
They probably said that. They probably said that because they probably just. Well, we didn't want her anyways because she's old.
Because the Okada situation too. That was like the Okada situation, and it was Okada, Ospreay. Oh, we don't need them. That's the whole organic thing. Is we don't need them. We have too many as it is.
After they bid their asses off for them, they say that. Just like they said, how Triple H said that? Ospreay can't hang with us. When he was trying to bid for him as hard as he could, he was like, "Oh, he just doesn't. He can't hang with our schedule." Ospreay was like, "No, I don't want to work your schedule in your stiff ass ring when I can make more money." Triple H's entire goal in 2017 and 18 was, "I swear I'm going to sign Kazuchika Okada." That was his entire. He said, "If anybody in this planet," and JR said the same shit. Said, "Anybody on this planet, I'm going to sign Kazuchika Okada." I said, "Never with Vince's money will you sign Kazuchika Okada because he cannot speak English. You can forget that. Forget it." And then we saw what you did with Nakamura. Great on the main roster was shit.
But and look at him. He still looks like shit.
Look at Jonah or whatever they call him on WWE Raw.
Reed.
Jeff Cobb is 42, 43 years old. They just signed him, and they threw him with the Samoans. Oh, he's too old, but old girl's too old. I mean, no, you're gonna make up excuses when you can't have what you want. Naito said it the best. They offered Naito a deal. He says, "Haha." They said I could go fight on the biggest stage of them all. Why would I want to go fight on the biggest stage of them all when I'm already on it?
Yeah.
Oh, he would be Toru Yano is hilarious.
No, not Yano. Naito.
Yeah, he's reading Country's statement over here in the comments.
Would it have to be a fun mid carder for AEW? Have him frustrate Don Callis. Oh, he's frustrated Don Callis back when Don Callis was commentating New Japan.
Yeah.
I understand.
And there's no butts. Well, wait. Unfortunately, there is a lot of butt stuff with Taguchi.
Well, I have no butt. You're looking at my ass. I have no butt right here.
No, let's talk about Yusuke Taguchi, the funky weapon.
I'm gonna call it this. New Japan can have one character that's got some ass shit, some jokes like that. They had a Colt Cabana that was a joke character, and they had a Yano. I'll take 3 of those randomly as some early matches. And just some shit to make people laugh. And versus a librarian man and woman in AEW, and a bunch of jokes and a bunch of stupidity that we didn't need. That's just ridiculous. That was half of what turned me. I used to buy every AEW pay-per-view. All that when they started. I've been out of it since what it was, 20 or 21 January. I stopped. I was like, this shit sucks.
It was a pandemic.
Well, here we are. This has been said.
This rant is brought to you by George. Brought to you by W.
All right.
Get your W80 drinks at W.GG. Use our promo code Ringside Rants, 10% off.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not ranting. This is not a rant.
No, I was talking about Jordan's rant.
Oh, Jordan had a rant?
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna be the obvious guy and say which one. I can't remember. So fuck it.
Nice. So AEW has been under fire lately, and y'all already know what for. Long ass pay-per-views.
That's a heat right now.
That is a lot of heat. They're stellar pay-per-views. I'm not gonna lie and say they're not.
I heard they're doing good too. Like the quality of the majority of it is good.
Yeah. And regardless of the time length, AEW Double or Nothing was a success. It featured top talents like Ospreay, Mercedes Moné, Kenny Omega, and many others. However, the 5.5 to 6 hour long pay-per-views for $50. Yeah, you're paying $10 an hour, but dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. I find myself yawning as I'm watching these things, man. And If I was in person, I'd probably fall asleep, dude. Unless the music got so loud it'd wake me up.
And
Because,
Bodies hit the floor.
well, yeah, that would boom, put you awake again. But the thing is, these pay per views happen from 6 p.m. to midnight. That's well, I'm not to midnight. Sometimes midnight. That's a 6 hour pay per view. Most of the time they end around 11:30. That's 5 to 5.5 hours long. TNA don't last that long. WWE has never lasted that long, ever.
Unless it's WrestleMania.
Which WrestleMania?
I think it was like the old WrestleMania is back.
WrestleMania 4 was a that was a one-off. That was a one-off round robin tournament that was fucking phenomenal. That is still my favorite WrestleMania of all time. WrestleMania 4 with Randy Macho Man.
That was a good one. I mean, Macho Man Savage won the tournament.
Yeah, that is by far my favorite WrestleMania of all time. But
man, and
they'll never ever be able to do that again, ever, because times have changed. AEW needs to change their format. They really do.
What
Country
3 hour pay-per-views and with 5 minute matches?
No,
Country,
20-minute commercials.
Country bring it up is like AEW needs not to have 0 hour. Start the event at the time instead, and stop trying to jam everybody into a card with 8-man tags.
Yes.
Honestly, I agree, but it's like but I agree with Mike as well. Is like they need to start cutting these times down. I mean, they can't. Like I said, here's an example of a pay-per-view that me and Country went to. Judgment Day, and it lasted the standard hours from 7 to 11. 7 to 11.
That's 4 hours.
But also we had Sunday Night Heat right before it started. So there was actual additional 2 matches to that.
Right.
Anyways, it was a pre-show.
Yeah. Sunday Heat was in the old school. He's right. In the old school WWF, the Sunday Night Heat was your pre-show. But it was also a great teaser to try to get you to, buy the show, look the excitement.
Yeah.
Y'all remember Sunday Night Spotlight too?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was before Heat.
Yeah, that was before Heat. Yeah, but they just need to cut down these times. Like I was even looking at it as like this is going past 11 o'clock. I was like, how much later? Because Country, correct me if I'm wrong. You're 2 hours behind us, or
he is,
or behind us, right? So this ended. I think the pay-per-view ended at like 11:30 our time. So it was like what 9:30 your time.
Who are you asking?
Country.
Yeah, it's 10:30 right now. So yeah. He's 2 hours behind us. Yeah.
So if I'm not mistaken, the pay-per-view ended for you around 9:30, right?
It's like 12:33 over where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about like yeah.
Yeah. So it ended around 9:30. Yeah.
Just for the record, I'm the same time as Phil, so that's how you know my time.
All 4 of us are on the Central Time Zone.
Okay.
I'm in Bama. You're in Louisiana. Phil's in Mississippi, and Josh is in Chicago.
Well, Indiana.
In Indiana's outside of Chicago. Well, outside of Chicago.
Well, I mean,
we heard a guy who represented a who was a big fan of a certain team from the Midwest has passed away.
Who?
His name is Bob. His name is Bill His name is Bob Swirsky. He was a big fan, and he was a big fan. He just passed away from old age and everything, and his brother here didn't have a heart attack or anything, and he was a big fan of probably the Bears. The Bears.
I had to think about it for a minute.
Yeah, it didn't hit me either.
The Bears. The Bears.
It's like we
The
were
Bears.
hitting Gina Jude's and had a roast beef and had my third heart attack of the day. The Bears.
We also had some nice cheese in Wisconsin too.
No, we
Then what was it? The Bulls. The Bulls.
Doubles.
It's like, yeah, well, the Bears season's over, so now we're switching hats. Doubles.
Doubles.
And they try to do the Cubs too, and they're like, no.
No. Then go to hell with the Cubs.
It's
They're
the
White
White
Sox.
Sox where you're at, man.
I'm a Sox fan, so.
Hey, dude, y'all took 2 from us out of the 3, so congrats to that. We suck.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say. We suck.
Well, guys, it's almost time for us.
Well, there's one more other thing that I want to talk about before we leave, and it's a big thing. There's a show happening on the 21st of next month. I was asked if I was going to go to it. It's in Gadsden, Alabama. It features the people from New South Wrestling. I told him I had to see if I could, and he put I'm still checking. I even asked Chris if he wanted to go, because but he said that he don't have anything going on, so it might be a doable thing. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I've invited him every week, but he hasn't showed up or anything. You know anything about that at all, Phil?
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, me either. Well, it is what it is. Anyway, gentlemen, that's the only other news I had to talk about.
Wait a minute, before you do your goodbyes, I got to do a promo. I got to pull a Mick Foley here, y'all. Before we do the goodbyes, Soul Dredger, my band, the original music, the Southern Death Doom in Stoner Doom style. We are headlining this Saturday at Twisted Lime. We are joined by 2 great bands, not just anybody. 2 bands I've heard that are kicking ass. Nesnum and Firing Squad. The following Saturday, we will be at Babylon. Oh, these shows are Louisiana, by the way. Metairie, Kenner area. The following Saturday, we are playing with, it will be us representing NOLA and the Louisiana. No End in Sight representing Mississippi. Dread representing Alabama. And Decaying Eucharist representing Florida, all at one show for a measly $12. Get your ass there. No pre-orders, free parking. Show up. They do not kick you out at 2 o'clock. You could drink until you pass out. People will be arriving at 6 a.m. while you're still passing out.
All right.
Dude, that's not a promo, bro. That's a put yourself over Wednesday, guy. I love it, man.
Well, wait a minute. Right here in Southeast Louisiana. For Mick Foley right there.
I was gonna. I know tomorrow is the only wrestlers event that's being held by Rob Van Dam and Violent J.
Oh yeah, that's right. ICP did do a thing with them.
Yeah, so they're holding an event. It's called Only Wrestlers. Partake of OnlyFans. So it's being held. I didn't realize this at the time. It's being held at the Admiral Theater in Chicago. I totally forgot the Admiral Theater is a strip club.
Makes sense with Van Dam's wife.
Yeah,
Katie Forbes is smoke. She's a smoke show though, bro.
Yeah, she's gonna be there. Tessa Blanchard's gonna be there. Rob Van Dam, Violent J, and I think Moose is gonna be there.
Yep.
Moose.
So I was gonna try to go to it, but financial situation is not looking good. So I'm probably gonna.
I'm still unemployed.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be.
Mean.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be streamed. So I'll try to watch it. Give my review.
It's gonna have a lot of boobalas.
Oh shoot, no. Normally I'll be down to go, but it's like I want autographs and I don't got money. I don't got autograph money.
Who?
I want Violent J and Rob Van Dam, man. Fuck you.
Yeah, Violent. Well, I'm going on the 13th to Birmingham to see him. She was gonna say, "Let's go." There you go.
Hey, Mike. Just to let you and Phil know, I got the call. I haven't confirmed nothing yet. I got the call for the fall. Call for the fall. I might have to call it a tour day. But in the fall, we got offered to play Bama, Mississippi, Florida, all of that. That's gonna be coming, y'all. So I'm hoping y'all can make some shows and we can all hang out.
Bro, I'm down with that, Jordan. Hey, man. Hey, you never know, dude. I know. There's a concert coming to Biloxi I'm going to as well in August. It's Falling in Reverse, Tech Nine, Sleep Theory, and Wage War.
That sounds kind of. I mean, if that's you into that, that's cool. If I was you, I'd be going to that. Is it Mississippi where it's gonna be Alice Cooper and fucking Judas Priest?
Yeah. Oh god. I gotta get. They're coming to Chicago, so I gotta get my tickets for Tinley Park.
Now, my big question is, I don't know if y'all have paid attention. I know I mentioned this already on here, but Alice Cooper has his old dudes minus one guy that died from his original band making the new album. Are they going to be on tour? Can they tour? I don't know. I cannot answer that. If these guys can physically do it, can they do it? I don't know. If they do, I might be at an Alice Cooper show. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, Alice Cooper is amazing, bro. And you know, his music kind of reminds me of Zappa a little bit. I know that sounds crazy.
It makes sense from the time zone. It does make sense.
Well, he since he hung out with Zappa and everything.
Dude, a lot of people hung out with Zappa, dude.
I'll be honest with y'all. If I had to honestly rank people like how humble or good as a person in this shitty business, because I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it's a shitty business. It's just like wrestling, music thing. It's a bunch of people trying to cut throats, get ahead, be nasty. That's what it is. I don't try to be like that. I just try to protect my band integrity, the locals, the places I play. I try to be fair to everybody. If I had to name the nicest people in history that made it and that deserve it, Alice Cooper's at the top of the list.
Oh yeah, dude, 100%.
That dude told Kiss. He was borrowing Eric Singer from Kiss. And I don't know how much history you'll know in Kiss. Okay, it doesn't really matter. But like third or fourth drummer, the longest drummer they've ever had, still there. He was like, you're in makeup here, you're playing live here. He's like, well, it's getting a little rough, playing headline. And he said, Alice told him, he says, dude, go play with them. I can get somebody else. And Alice is known for grabbing top-notch musicians, giving them a chance, bringing people in, just being.
Look at Nita Strauss. She's one of the best guitar players in the world,
and she's one of his newer recruits he had. But
you don't got the Admiral Theater money, and you got the special strip money.
Through his whole damn career, all Alice ever did was push people up and put them good. He's one of the best people. He's one of the most humble, good people in this business that you could ever meet. And I'll tell you another one that might blow your mind. Y'all might never think it. Mr. Evil himself, King Diamond.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's a nice guy. I've met
one of the nicest fucking people, the most gracious, the most. Thank you so much for saying you like what we do. Nicest. Lives in Texas to this day now. Even though he's originally from, the Norwegian, the Sweden.
Yeah, he's from Finland. He's from Denmark. I meant, my bad.
Yeah, yes, you're right, Denmark. Yeah, his real name's Kim Benedict Peterson. But yes, he's lived in Texas forever. But one of the nicest fucking. You tell that guy he's great. That guy's gonna tell you thank you so much, like he's waiting in line to audition.
Very humble for what I've seen.
That's how humble that man is. So
I saw him 10 years ago at the in New Orleans at the he was performing the entire Abigail album, and it was
you were there, and I didn't even know you, and I was in the place.
I was Exodus was opening up for.
Yes, it was in 2015. It was 15 years ago. It was the Abigail anniversary. Exodus opened. They had the whole stage. It was in the haunted New Orleans Civic. which is one of the oldest buildings that didn't burn down in the last fire over 100 years ago. One of the
Dude, even Ghost played there too.
yeah. Dude, it's a shame I didn't know you then. I'd have went up to you and been like, hey, but I was right there, bro. I was right there.
I was in the front row.
One of the top 3 greatest concerts I've ever seen, and I've seen Iron Maiden. I've seen some big names. One of the Iron Maiden's on my top 3. That King
is number one in the one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Actually, Iron Maiden on my list to watch, to see, and not like my favorite band, but they're on my list to see.
Same with Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper. You know what? I seen Alice Cooper, but I need to see. I got to see him with Rob Zombie, and it was kind of a shortened set. I want to see full on 100% Alice Cooper set.
Oh, you might get that if them boys can play. If they're touring, if it's not him solo. If them boys, I don't know if y'all heard the new song off the new album. I'm predicting it already. The Grammys are gonna hand it's the Alice Cooper band like back in the day, like it's 1972, 73 again. I'm predicting the Grammys are gonna hand them Rock Album of the Year already from the one song.
I hate to be the bad or bad, so we gotta wrap it up, guys. It's almost 1 a.m.
Man, I'm just sitting here enjoying talking about everything, wrestling, music, everything. But there is something else that we need to talk about real fast about music wise.
Hit it up, bro.
Bands that we need to see before they're no longer around. If you've never seen an Insane Clown Posse concert, you need to go and see it.
That's already a check on my list. Already said.
I mean, I've been to several Dark Carnival shows. I've been to, dude, it's a show.
It's different.
I cracked my damn elbow. You get ass country on that one. I cracked my elbow at that show.
It's a different world. It's a different world, and it was the best when they had Sabu busting Figo with a fucking railroad spike launching him in the crowd. That was the best,
dude.
We're never gonna get them that young again.
Rest in peace, Sabu.
We're not gonna get Sabu again. We're not gonna get ICP that young to be able to move around like that again. It was great.
They're older. Those guys are older than me.
Yeah, they're all Twisted.
They're older than me.
Their crowd, which when they were psychopathic before they all got into a big old fight,
was bloodthirsty.
Twisted was like you're on cocaine and you lift your feet up and you held up by people's shoulders. Like
man,
that was a whole different world. That
who's really blessed is Konosuke Takeshita. He's married to
what the hell, Phil? What the hell, man?
Music,
and you went on a
whole nother world. Whole nother world.
I know. I was looking at Instagram.
Jesus, man. All right. Anyway,
well, let's end this part of the show.
Let's end this shit. If you're not watching Ringside Rants or listening to Ringside Rants,
you're doing wrong, brother.
You're doing what?
You're doing life wrong, brother.
There you go. And we're not just food to eat, man. We're also
food for the ears, baby.
Hell yeah, man. And again, fuck you if you don't like us, and fuck you if you do like us. Because we're here to say fuck everyone. But we love you. God bless.
And don't forget, I got mine now. What's yours is mine. What's mine is mine, but what's yours is mine too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now, does anybody have a fun fact for the evening?
I got a fun fact.
Samoa Joe figure, and he's pretty badass.
You know, I touched Mina.